2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Like taking a whiz outside.
It's freedom.
Nature.
Nature.
Freedom.
Yeah.
You live in New York City. Nature what? Bathrooms are gross, but now the rest of us have to be around your outside wee-wee.
I have to be honest. I've always wanted to live in the suburbs, just to have a backyard.
Just to pee in?
Yeah.
That's going to pee near your own house.
If you had the same equipment as us, Maggie, wouldn't you be tempted to go outside in the wind and just let it all go?
Because when I was in high school, we used to go to parties in the woods. So I have peed outside before.
Right,
it's an art form. I can do this now. I'm like a Green Beret at this. Are you crazy? But not reveling in it. If there had been a bathroom, I would have gladly gone to that. Peeing in the woods was the last resort.
And I think it's more fun for us.
It's definitely more fun for you.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Oh, good afternoon. The band's back together. Andrew Perloff back in the studio just in time for NFL Combine Week to kick off your favorite time of year. You've been reading mock drafts for months now.
Yeah. And I do have a resentment building against, when next time I'm out, can we have worse co-hosts? I mean, Keith and Sal were awesome. This is not good. I do not like this.
They set the bar pretty high, Perloff. Don't worry, your name's on the show. I think you're safe. But This is a big week because the entire NFL world descends onto Indianapolis for the NFL Scouting Combine. And the biggest news that we have coming out is that Adam Schefter is now saying that the Chicago Bears are likely to trade the number 1 overall pick. So what does that mean and all the trickle-down effects of that? Basically, if you're Justin Fields, you probably feel pretty good right now because if they were going to keep the number 1 pick, you would think it would be for a quarterback.
Right, but this is all so crazy because Justin Fields, Maggie, if you put him in this year's draft field, top 4 quarterbacks in some order, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson, Where would Justin Fields go in that
Pretty
list?
high.
Pretty high.
Well,
so you're telling me you're going to trade out of him?
No, we know now that he can play in the NFL, though.
Yes. So maybe higher than all those guys. I know he didn't pass much in Chicago, but look at that offense. Who is he going to pass to? He passed a lot at Ohio State. He had an incredible arm at Ohio State.
Totally.
Now he forgot to throw how to throw in the NFL. I don't buy that. I think Justin Fields is a good prospect. And I have a lot of friends who are Bears fans, and they're all excited about Fields. But then something happened this offseason. They were all really excited about Fields, but they all entertained the idea, maybe we should take somebody else.
Well, there's a reason why.
Okay.
And it's funny that you're seeing a lot of former general managers and people who worked in the front office are the ones who are basically saying, oh, this could be good to trade Justin Fields and take a quarterback number 1 overall. Because if you don't think the Bears are going to be a Super Bowl contender or anywhere close in the next couple years, you might as well restart the clock if you believe in any of these quarterbacks. If Justin Fields has another season, Perloff, where he rushes for over 1,000 yards and shows that he can play in this league, guess what happens after year 3? The agent starts coming around and saying, when are we going to make this thing official and get a contract extension going for my guy? Much like what happened with Kyler Murray and much like what happens with a lot of good young quarterbacks. Like all of a sudden now they want a little security. And if you don't think you're ready to win or close to win with Justin Fields in the next couple of years, then trading Fields and taking a quarterback with that number 1 overall pick becomes really attractive.
So now you're telling me a team only gets 3 years effectively with a quarterback?
Yes.
In other words, the guy that they're drafted, say they did keep number 1 and draft Bryce Young out of Alabama, man, the clock's ticking fast. You think they're 3 years away from winning a Super Bowl with Bryce Young?
They might be because they can at least build out the rest of the team a little bit more.
In 3 years? They're nowhere near.
But I'm not a Bryce Young person. I know we're on in Alabama, and I know we have a lot of people listening in Alabama. It's not about him as a person or anything. If I'm a general manager and if my life and job is depending on it, I'm not drafting a guy that small. Look at what happened in the NFL this year. We had 70 different starting quarterbacks. Yeah. Big guys can get hurt, small guys can get hurt. But I don't trust that I'm going to have a smaller quarterback who's going to be durable. Think about the guys who are, and think about what the outlier and the exception to the rule that they are.
Who are durable?
Well, I
think Drew Brees and Russell Wilson played a lot of games. Russell Wilson, I think, was the Iron Man for a little bit.
Russell Wilson is one of those guys. But Drew Brees, let's not forget, devastating shoulder injury early on in his career that thankfully he came back from and gave us a Hall of Fame career. But these guys are outliers. Like,
what do you
Kyler
with the
Murray
big guys?
Hurt, Tua hurt. Like, it's hard to say these smaller guys are going to stay healthy.
Who are the big guys that are staying healthy besides your guy Josh Allen?
I mean, Mahomes finished the season. I know that he always is limping around.
He's not big though. He's 6'1".
Okay, but that's not 5'11".
No, you're right. But I think I'm not putting 15 years into Mahomes. The way he plays, he's going to have to contain it a little bit. Cam Newton is the biggest quarterback I've ever seen in person in my life. His muscles had muscles. He was great up until 2015, and then people started hitting him. So I don't know that there's an easy solution. It seems like your style play can help you there. That being said, Justin Fields almost set the all-time quarterback rushing record. Yeah. Can he stay healthy? That I don't know.
It's another one. So let's not forget when we talk about what the Bears should do with that number 1 overall pick. Here was Justin Fields, and he was a guest on the Barstool podcast, Part of My Take. I'm sure a couple of you have heard of it. And one of the biggest podcasts in the country.
Yeah, the biggest podcast ever. But we never really get news out of there, which was funny.
Yeah, that's not really their intention.
No, they're there to entertain and to make you laugh. But this was a big headline.
Yeah, this was a big one. So this was Justin Fields. And I imagine if you are a Bears fan and you live in Chicago, you know what this is like, what the weather is like. Fields talking about how he doesn't feel like he plays well in this cold weather was noteworthy.
I feel like way slower in that cold weather, so it's tough. Ooh. But, yeah, I mean, you, of course, want to try to stay warm on the sideline and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's hard to stay warm in that weather. Warm-ups and stuff like that, your hands freezing up, so it's tough. I hope we just get a dome. I don't care if we're at Soldier Field. I don't care if we're in Arlington Heights. I hope we get a dome on that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So that was him basically saying, like, this weather sucks. I don't feel fast in this weather. I don't feel like I'm playing at my best in this weather. Now, maybe no one feels that they're best.
Right.
But there are some guys who are known as, like, good cold weather quarterbacks. And I thought Fields was actually, well, we don't really see him throw all that much. But his ability to run is kind of exactly what you want in cold weather, right?
Oh, definitely.
Have the option.
Definitely. That seems like the ideal fit. By the way, Big Cat does break a lot of news. I can hear him finding that clip from me saying that they don't break a lot of news and getting mad at me. So
the
I
new
just want to put
Schefter, Big Cat.
I just want to put no. They break news because they do get a lot of interviews. So the thing about all these quarterbacks, they're all warm weather quarterbacks too. In fact, most of the guys that come into the draft these days are warm weather quarterbacks. Bryce Young is from L.A. and went to Alabama. Anthony Richardson's from Florida, went to Florida. Will Levis, a little bit northeast.
He's from Connecticut, went to Penn State and then Kentucky.
Yeah, so
C.J. Stroud has played in the cold weather.
Yeah, but C.J. Stroud, just like Justin Fields, is from L.A. and played at Ohio State. Justin Fields is from Georgia and played at Ohio State. And he doesn't like the cold weather. So I can't, just because he played at Ohio State, I guess that's not enough to make you a cold weather quarterback.
I thought it was, but I mean, this is his preference, right? He just doesn't like the cold weather.
Yeah, but I think you need a bigger guy to play in the cold weather. So the Bears cannot have Bryce Young. That's a worse fit for Bryce Young.
I don't think that's a great
Yeah, I think him landing on that hard surface. So take him out of the mix, I would think almost automatically. So then you're looking at guys who you don't have to take number one. So what about that, Maggie? Taking a quarterback a little lower.
Well, you could have your cake and eat it too. It's possible that the Bears are sitting in a really great situation here. You trade down 2 spots. Maybe you still get your guy, whoever that is. And then, as Michael Gaylor's putting in the chat, by the way, did I mention across the country, CBS Sports Radio? I kind of got right into it. It's Monday. We're across the country and all of our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 158, of course, the free Odyssey app. We're streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. That's where Michael Gaylor in the chat said the Bears should totally trade Fields. You get a new top round type quarterback. Plus, with the draft picks you get for Fields, you could totally put together a team that's better than what you have right now. And look at the landscape where we're talking about teams that need quarterbacks right now, and how many teams would be dying to get Justin Fields. I mean, look at Daniel Jones might be lining up for $45 million. People are falling over themselves for 1 year of Rodgers, for Derek Carr, maybe for a couple years. Stu's a Raider fan. He didn't want Derek Carr anymore. It's not like the free agent market or the trade market right now is that robust. Justin Fields would create a massive bidding war.
No, but you'd get much more for the number one pick.
You can get both. Like, maybe you're trading back for the number one pick, and then you trade back to get a quarterback, but only a few spots. And then you trade Justin Fields, and now you're just, like, drowning in picks.
I got it. I like this. I think this is what would make more sense. You trade back and get more picks. You trade from 1 to, say, 9. Say Carolina moves up, just hypothetically. Then you have Justin Fields after 2 years going to his 3rd year. You do what the Eagles did. You have a bunch of draft picks, so you can move up and get a top guy in next year's draft and give Fields 1 more year tryout, just like Jalen Hurts. We came into last season saying, hey, if this doesn't work out for Jalen Hurts, then the Eagles have a lot of draft capital. They could take a quarterback next year.
Yep.
So the Bears can keep Fields, try him out for 1 more year, because he does have a lot of upside. He's definitely intriguing. And if it doesn't work, then go into next year's draft. Don't take a Will Levis at number 9 this year and get stuck there. Don't force it. Give Fields 1 more year. I understand. You're trading them both. You're trading them all away.
Well, I mean, if I'm the Bears, I'm pretty far. So
you're pretty far. I understand what you're saying.
And even if Rodgers is leaving the division, and if you're not that scared of the Minnesota Vikings, you know, you are going to have the Lions to deal with, I guess. Maybe you feel like, listen, we're not that far away from maybe competing for our division. But, I mean, are you? I mean, you kind of are.
Well, they were, they had the worst record in the league this year, right? Obviously. But there were so many close games. They basically lost every close game, almost as if they wanted to lose those games to get a high draft pick. At the end, they were more committed to losing than the Texans, who really should be number 1. If you remember at the end of last year, we're like, what is Houston doing? They're blowing it. They're blowing the whole thing. I think both teams are going to be fine. I would keep Fields, trade down, and see, I think there's a lot of upside with Justin Fields. I think he would go very high in this year's draft. So why trade? Get a Will Anderson or a defensive cornerstone.
Yep.
You're Chicago. You laid it out. It's a cold weather city. Have a running quarterback and stop the run or an incredible pass rusher.
Yep. I was thinking Jalen Carter. I mean, either you really can't go wrong there. I don't think. Jeffrey Stringer in the chat, just trade Fields. Are you crazy? Many exclamation points.
Well, there you go. I mean, if you're going to put multiple exclamation points,
you're going to get my attention.
Yeah,
all caps on crazy and multiple exclamation points.
I think that is an argument right there.
I mean, drop the mic, Jeff. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Let us know what you think. What should the Bears do here? Trade Justin Fields? Should they keep Justin Fields? Is there a quarterback you love in this draft? We've talked. We know we're on in Alabama. Are the Bryce Young fans going to come out in full force to throw their weight behind their guy?
Oh, I see what you did there. Weight behind a guy who everyone's worried about their weight.
I wasn't doing that.
So they're adding the weight to because
you're a writer and I'm not.
I don't know if Bryce Young's going to get weighed this week at Indy, but I don't remember a weight that has been this closely watched. Everyone's trying to see if he hits 200 pounds.
He's not doing anything at the combine. He's doing the interviews. I think that's it.
Do you have to get weighed? I actually Googled this the other day, and I couldn't find the answer.
You Googled, do you have to get weighed at the combine?
Do you have to get weighed? Would you love that?
No, because why would any of the offensive linemen or defensive linemen, if you were overweight, you wouldn't want to get weighed?
I think you might have to.
Like if you're Mekhi Becton, I wouldn't want to get weighed.
If you go to the combine, can you not get weighed? I guess you can.
No, I don't think you can opt out of your measurables.
So, yeah, and height's a big deal. McShay came out and said he's 5'10 and a half. Yikes. But I would love that assignment, having to gain a bunch of weight and get up to, I'm 200 now. If you told me I have to be 215 by next week,
what would you do? How would you do this?
Donuts and milkshakes.
I know, but that's not the right kind of weight.
With Bryce Young, he keeps his shirt on. I don't think they do the
Tom
shirt.
Brady couldn't keep his shirt on at the combine.
How do we know if it's going to be, if he gets up to 210, which is his goal?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to matter if it's the right weight or the wrong weight.
See, I think there's something about guys who can put on weight and then guys who fill out their frame.
Yeah, the frame is not big.
No. See, Lamar Jackson filled out his frame because it felt like he had room to go there.
Lamar Jackson was tiny in college and is just barely above. He's not that big either. I guess he's bigger. But Bryce
put on 15 pounds.
He's put on 40 pounds since he got in the NFL. Why can't Bryce Young do that?
Again,
how do we know? We're not experts on frames.
Yes, we are. If last year we could be expert on hand size, which I called all of you guys out for Kenny Pickett and his small hands, and look who was leading game-winning drives last year and almost got the Steelers to the playoffs.
Despite his small hands.
Sold T.J. Watt apparently, too.
It was T.J. Watt who really closed that deal, and Najee Harris running the ball, but also Pickett.
No, but T.J. told us that was the drive that convinced him.
Right, that was the drive.
Maggie, what would you do to get up in weight?
I think that I would probably have to wake up in the middle of the night and just house something and then just go right back to sleep.
Oh, I know. You pizza.
Or yeah, sure. But again, I want to put on the right kind of weight. But this is where I know anecdotally, whenever I eat super late, and then I go right to sleep.
Got it.
Recipe for gaining weight. So one of my first jobs, not first, later on, I work for MLB Network, MLB.com, pardon me.
Yep.
Doing game recaps and highlights, mostly of West Coast games. So I was in New York, not getting out until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would go directly to this burrito joint that was next to my apartment at the time. Bad news.
Oh, no.
Your girl put on the freshman 15, not of college, of living in New York. None of my clothes fit by the end of the season. It was rough.
Oh, no, the MLB.com 15. It's the worst.
It was, why did that burrito place have to be open till 4 a.m.? They saw me coming like a sucker.
We need to get the logistics of what's happening here with Bryce Young. Can he put on, if you put on 10 pounds of bad weight, you could take it off by your pro day and look totally ripped. I think players do this all the time. They put on weight for one measurement, then they take it off to run the 40 faster. So I think that he's going to get weight here. I think he's going to weigh over 200 pounds. I think Bryce Young's going to put on a ton of weight. I think it's going to look good. Would you view him differently if you found out he was 5'11"?
Well, that's a little more like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, 5'11", 210. You'd be okay with that?
Again, it's a little more like Russell Wilson. It's still an outlier. He's not like a bowling ball of a guy. I think of Wilson, what did the guy call him last week? A sack of potatoes? That was way too far. That was just mean.
Well, Russell's got big legs, big muscular legs.
Yeah, right.
Where Bryce Young does not.
It's all about the bottom. Kyler
Murray's
sound bad.
Kyler Murray's huge. Kyler Murray's a very big, muscular guy.
He was also a baseball player, too, so it's you have to be bulked up for that sport, too.
He looks like a second baseman in the MLB. I think Bryce Young should just go all out, show up like Homer Simpson, just gigantic belly.
All of a sudden, it's did you know Bryce Young has a weight problem? What I'm worried about is BMI.
That would be amazing. Just change the narrative and just get super, super big for this combine. Then lose it by your pro day, and everyone's like, wow, look at that guy. Hard work.
Man, Bryce Young, low-key fat guy. Did you see him in person? That's impossible.
Look at a picture of Bryce Young. He must have zero body fat.
Yeah, he's just a smaller dude. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Extremely accurate, though. Okay, chat's up and running. You guys are amazing. Looks like a lot of people in the chat may have seen Cocaine Bear this weekend and probably caught some inspiration from it.
Can someone call in with a review? I'm dying to know if we have to see this.
855-212-4CBS. All right, now you asked for it. 855-212-4227. Perloff is back. He's going to regale us with his tales from the ski slopes. We got to get into my weekend took an interesting turn. Get to that as well. But your calls on Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, start us off. We'll get to Aaron Rodgers in just a moment. New report coming out from Albert Breer. What does it say about Rodgers and his future in Green Bay? We'll get to that in just a moment. It is Maggie and Perloff on this Monday, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back on Maggie and Perloff. We have some, I think, some fun stories. You're going to like my skiing story, Maggie.
I want to hear it.
Do you want it now or do you want it later? Because it went tragically awry.
Well, hold on, because oh man, that's pretty tempting. But give me a sec, because we got some new-ish information here about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and the whole future of Rodgers in Green Bay. And it's not even so much about Rodgers, the latest from Albert Breer. It's more, to me, two things. His latest column in SI.com basically says that one of the biggest differences between last year, when the team was hell-bent on keeping Aaron Rodgers, and this year, where they are not as hell-bent on keeping Aaron Rodgers, is because they feel like Jordan Love is ready. Last year, they didn't feel like he was ready. The uneasiness of Jordan Love's readiness, is not there. So that part of it, I think, is quite interesting. And then Albert Breer said, yeah, they were worried about Love's development a year ago. They're now seeing a guy capable of starting at the very least with considerable upside. So that's a little, it's like not the most ringing endorsement ever. Like, oh my gosh, this guy's the next, the second coming. But there's not that fear, apparently, that if Rodgers leaves, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, this seems obvious to me. First of all, I love me some Jordan Love. He just looked really, really good in very limited action. I mean, he threw one touchdown last year. It wasn't like we saw so much of Jordan Love.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, and I think you'll agree with this, the Packers are overdue a rebuild. Where are they going with Aaron Rodgers? How many times are we going to see them do well? Even if they do well in the regular season, they either get run over by the Niners, blow it on special teams, or completely don't show up against the Lions this year. They're not going anywhere with Aaron Rodgers. They need to rebuild. And Rodgers throwing to these rookies, the formula's not working. So it's time to try something new.
I thought the other interesting thing about what Breer was talking about, and he doesn't say this stuff unless he's made some serious calls. I mean, he's not just throwing things against the wall. But he said because Rodgers' contractual implications, like he's due a ton of money, he'd be impossible to cut because of the dead cap money. If he just, the contract is hamstringing them. He said that considering the contract, a likely small group of bidders, not that many people are actually going to be in on Rodgers considering his age and the money. He said it will almost certainly depress his trade value, where the cost could wind up being less than a first-round pick. Say what?
Oh, boy. That's going to get very interesting for Jets fans who are willing to give up the entire house for Aaron Rodgers. If you could get it for a second-round pick, who's not going to want Aaron Rodgers? Explain this to me.
Well, that's a little chicken the egg, right? Because if there's not a lot of bidders because of the price, but if it's not a first-round pick, then half the league should be in on him. If it's going to be a second-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, plus money, yes, definitely money, but even for a year or two, the picks were the hardest thing to part ways with, I thought. If you can fit the money in, you fit the money in.
Yeah, I mean, if you probably can't add much around Rodgers, you better have the pieces there already. Because if you're going to pay him $60 million, you can't go out and get a Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams unless you already have Devontae Adams in your Vegas. But wow, if it's a second-round pick,
That's great news for Vegas.
What's to stop a contender, say the Niners, the Dolphins, say the Ravens, if they can't keep Lamar Jackson, maybe they make a call about Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, I went into my own personal darkness retreat.
Yeah, you came out.
And I did see the Dolphins as Rodgers. Now, I don't know about the 49ers because I don't know if the Packers are going to be steadfast about not trading him in the NFC.
That's a good point.
So, Raiders, Stu, you got to be loving this.
Sounds great to me. Second-round pick for Rodgers.
Bring him on board. And you could still take a quarterback. That wouldn't make a ton of sense because you want to invest everything you have for Rodgers. Like the 7th overall pick, you probably want to get a pass rusher or something like that.
Or offensive lineman.
Or an offensive
The other
lineman.
thing, what if, say, a Washington did want to offer more than that? Rodgers might let it be known, I'm not going there.
Right.
So
He holds a
because of the
power.
retirement card.
Right.
So that might depress the market as well because you can't have the highest bidder. It's got to be someone that works for the quarterback as well. You look at the odds. You have the Raiders, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Niners. So all of them are already in play. Then teams like the Patriots, the Titans, the Saints, the Bucks. The Bucks come in play. I don't know if Rodgers would follow Brady, but I would do it. I would do it if I'd go 16 teams who'd trade for him. Wouldn't you?
If it's now a second rounder or 2 second rounders, like it just changes everything. It really does. So if that's true, and I have no reason to ever doubt Albert Breer, his stuff is buttoned up, then that will hasten the exit probably for Rodgers, I would think.
How about the New York Giants say goodbye to Daniel Jones pretty quickly?
Why would the Giants be in on this? Seriously.
Absolutely. They have a really good team around. I don't think it's going to happen.
They don't really have a really good team, though. That's the problem. they don't really have a really good team.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's
They have
the
a good
only
coach.
problem.
Good coach.
Yeah, I mean, he won Coach of the Year. At one point, Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year. Sometimes.
Wow.
I think Daboll is good. This is not sour grapes for me. I think he is
Wow.
good. He did more with less last year. But then they got to Philadelphia and completely no-showed a playoff game.
It's going to be tricky because some of the teams that need quarterbacks just don't make any sense. The Indianapolis Colts are not at a well, I could sell myself. They have Jonathan Taylor.
The Colts again, 6th year in a row with a veteran quarterback.
But this is an upgrade from Phillip Rivers and those guys.
I would agree with you.
At least you have Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I just don't see Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I see him going for a first rounder for sure.
Yeah.
I do agree with Breer. It's got to be a small pool of teams. Feels like the Jets, and if he's not going to stay in Green Bay and he's not going to retire, I don't see it going much beyond the Jets and the Raiders. Do you see all these other teams like your Dolphins in the mix?
Yes, I love that they're my Dolphins now. But yes, I do see them in the mix. Thomas L in the chat, by the way, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, says the only way this whole second-round pick for Rodgers will happen is if only one team and GM is interested. The instant you add a second, it's a bidding war, and there are some desperate GMs out there. I agree with that.
Yep.
I mean, and one desperate GM, I think, is the GM of Samter's New York Jets, because it's been such a mixed bag where some picks have been awesome. They're building a team and the core and the foundation, but you whiffed so hard on the quarterback, and somehow you don't have like tons and tons of money, which I never understand. Teams in the NFL who are cash strapped, who are not paying their quarterback. How did you back yourself into that?
One name comes to mind for the Jets, and Sanford, you can tell me if you relate this. The Corey Davis contract to me wasn't as bad as Kenny Galladay. It was wasn't it 4 years, $50 million or something for Corey Davis?
No, I don't think it was that high. I thought it was like 30 something. I mean, there's no excuse if you're a general manager to be up against the cap if you're not paying a quarterback.
They tried to put talent around, I can't remember, either Darnold or Zach Wilson. They failed.
Wilson, not Darnold. They didn't do anything.
All right, 3 years, $38 million.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's not
4
enough
years,
to sink
million,
the franchise. And you're not paying a left tackle. Like, how do you? And you haven't paid Quinnen Williams yet. Like,
that's
how
$12
are you
million.
cash-strapped?
That's $12 million a year for Corey Davis. That doesn't strike you as a little bit off-putting?
Yeah, but that's not. That shouldn't be the difference between you being able to sign or not sign other players. So that's one contract where you overpaid, right?
There's CJ
Obviously,
Uzomah.
there's more. Yeah.
Yeah, they went all in a couple summers ago. It was bizarre. I love Joe Douglas. I hope it works out. But if you get Aaron Rodgers in there, all of a sudden all these players are going to be good again. I'm into it.
Let's see. We also have Joseph King in the chat saying he's not going to the Raiders. The O-line's not ready. You're right about that. They're not ready right now. We still haven't gone through free agency. Taylor Lewan is a free agent. Maybe that could happen. And you also have a 7th overall pick in the draft. That's prime for a tackle or a guard.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely for a guard, but for a tackle, no doubt.
Another one where the GM has a lot of reason to bring in Aaron Rodgers. It works for, I think, where Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler are. I think they need to win pretty soon. They have a lot of high-priced guys. They have Max Crosby. They have Devontae Adams. They have Chandler Jones. They have Darren Waller. There's no time for a rebuild. I would go all in. Man, I'm all in on Rodgers everywhere. You can't name a team except for someone with a star like the Eagles or the Bills or the Chiefs. Tell me why you wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers. I know you would want him too, but what is the the money?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's the money, I guess. if it's not multiple first-round picks, that changes things. But there is also like maybe this is a little more on the outside. Peter King had this in his Football Morning in America like 2 weeks ago about whether or not Rodgers might be like worth all the things that come with it. Right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know?
Yep.
I think that's a little crazy. Like, he's not a criminal, you know, because he does McAfee every week and does some weird, ayahuasca and in the off season and goes on a darkness retreat. I don't see as that someone who has to like seriously be managed.
Jets' new Hall of Famer Joe Klecko.
Yeah.
He was on with the buddies at last week. He said, "I don't want him to because the locker room. He's gonna come there, like completely ruin these elite, rising young offensive weapons, and he just doesn't want him in the locker room at all." So I think that there is some of that. There are people who legitimately think Rodgers is bad for young developing stars.
I mean, who would with the word ruin? You know, I mean, he had Garrett Wilson who had over 1,100 yards receiving from 3 different quarterbacks last year. I mean, I doubt Rodgers is going to be able to do much worse than that.
Yeah, it's funny. You were saying, I don't see why anyone would think Rodgers is weird. Then you start listing things, and you could have gone on a little further with that, too. Yeah, I mean, I could see him not being a perfect fit for every locker room.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like him. I would bring him in.
Listen,
I got another quarterback that could be an option for the Jets.
Well, yeah, we got some news for it, too. It's just one bit. The other thing about Rodgers, you have to just make sure he's okay with a young team. You know, he would know eyes wide open, this is what I'm walking into with the Jets. These are young receivers, and this is what it's going to be like.
I think from his own words, he seems like he's okay with the young team as long as the young team is built to win now, as opposed to like rebuild. The Jets are not rebuild. The Jets quarterback away from being legit contender in the AFC.
He wouldn't even be looking at Jets if he didn't. We wouldn't even know what he's looking at. He came nothing last week.
If he doesn't be on a rebuild, I would even be looking at the Raiders because the Raiders quarterback away.
You could win.
I think it's ours.
You could win. Defense not really in the line, right? But have
that vision. I mean, we had last year for that, but that vision. The vision is so stacked. You Trump in there now.
The FC's got a team last year.
Yeah, but the FC. They have like Jimmy, like a Juggernaut, and his team's a good year.
One thing about, from my point of view, I think they could get back MVP level with Devontae Adams. Regardless of winning, from a selfish reason, he might want to get there. And, those defenses aren't great out there either. I think he thinks he could have a gigantic season, maybe things like that.
Yeah,
I would.
He did say that, right?
Yeah.
He did say that in an interview, one of the McAfee interviews, where he says, I feel like I can still win MVPs. Let's also not underestimate the Aaron Rodgers with the chip on the shoulder.
Sure.
They drafted Jordan Love, and he rattled off 2 more MVPs.
That was amazing.
Traded to the Jets, he might win a Super Bowl just to spite everybody.
Oh, okay. I didn't think that's where you were going.
Oh, sorry. Where were you going?
Well, anywhere but the Jets winning a Super Bowl.
Oh, sorry.
That's too far. I mean, there's no chip on planet Earth big enough for that.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So we got some news Rich Ackerman's going to give to you in just one moment. I just can't believe how perfectly this lines up with something you brought in today.
Oh.
I know. I think you should go get it in the break. We'll let Ackerman tell everybody what the big news is. Perloff literally brought something in today that he was going to put in the studio. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Perloff will go get the new set decoration that has everything. The timing just couldn't be better. All right, we'll get to that in just a moment after this CBS Sports Radio update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Yeah, I thought it was a souvenir from his weekend away. This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Carson Wentz, the former second overall pick in the draft, is now looking for his 4th team in as many years. He was released by the Commanders, who'll save $26 million against the salary cap. The Bears hold the cards in this draft with that number 1 pick being a hot commodity. They need a lot and can get a lot for it and seem open to dealing it. They've reportedly had interest from multiple teams and are leaning toward a trade. After 10 years of being part owner of the Bucs, Mark Lazary is moving on. He is reportedly a deal in place with the Cleveland Browns owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, to sell his share of the team for $3.5 billion. That's billion. Under Lazary and Wes Edens, the team won a championship and remains a contender and also moved into Fiserv Forum. The Bucs had the night off, but are currently the NBA's hottest team with 14 straight wins. Boston, right in front of the Bucs in the East, will take on the Knicks tonight in New York, which has won 5 in a row. The Sixers look to bounce back after a crushing loss to the Celtics on Saturday. They'll host the Heat. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply check out the link, cbssportsradio.com/askthepros, or tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag AskThePros. Be listening later in the show where we might answer your question. So it is funny, the timing of this.
What even inspired you to bring this in today? By the way, we're across the country. CBS Sports Radio, our incredible affiliates. We're streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio if you want to see what we're talking about here.
So last week, our friend of the show, Sully, sent you a Jim Kelly signed football.
Right here over my right shoulder.
So the studio is starting to become a little Bills-centric, to be honest. It's feeling like...
I mean, I thought it looked great.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue and red. There's a Fred Jackson jersey, for gosh sakes. I mean, come on. Come on. So I want to bring in some Eagles stuff. So I was in Philly this weekend.
But it's not a competition, Perloff.
It is now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I looked around my childhood house for Eagles stuff, and I found this really handsome poster.
Yeah.
It is...
he looks younger there.
May 9th, 2016, the Bullseye. The QB is out of Fargo and into the Philly Fire. Carson Wentz in an Eagles uniform on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good looking. Just, it didn't quite work out.
The fact that you brought this in today, that we find out he got cut from the Commanders like 2 minutes ago, as Rich Ackerman gave you the update. I mean, this is for the people who say there's a Sports Illustrated cover curse.
Yeah.
This is one of your Exhibit A's.
Well, this was after the draft. They took him at number 2. Then the following year, he led them to the Super Bowl, although he didn't play in the Super Bowl, so it wasn't that far off.
It's a delayed curse.
I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles winning a Super Bowl was a miracle. You can't relate. Don't. I love it. 2000. This is 2016. This headline at the top of SI cracks me up.
What else was on the cover?
Boris Diaw, subtle star, even for the Spurs. Boris Diaw in 2016. How many years did he have left in the NBA?
That is awesome. Meanwhile, the Spurs have lost 16 games in a row.
So I don't know. Maybe
Certainly
Carson.
Happier time.
This will work if Carson Wentz, who's now out there, signs with the Eagles as a backup.
Wait, do you really? Okay, you're feeling some type of way because the Bills memorabilia is starting to take over the studio. Do you really want to sit here with a Carson Wentz blown up Sports Illustrated cover over your shoulder? I mean, I got Jim Kelly and Fred Jackson, the real ones. No, you got Carson Wentz.
My favorite piece of memorabilia at the Dan Patrick Show, he had a ton of memorabilia.
Of course.
He had a Ryan Leaf Colts jersey. So the Colts and the Chargers were looking at Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning, and the Colts, when he visited, printed up a Leaf Colts jersey, and Ryan gave it to Dan, and Dan never gave it back. Long story. Okay. Anyway, it was so cool. This is, to me, a similar, the irony and the uniqueness of this piece of memorabilia.
Right.
Every Bills fan has a Fred Jackson jersey.
I know.
Obscure running back from 2014.
I have no idea what country this jersey came from. This was deep internet.
But there's a lot of Bills in here. You know, the funny thing, too, is you have some Mets. Is that the Rangers?
Yeah.
And Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
I have the Anaheim Mighty Ducks and the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing in mind that says Eagles. It's time to get some green in here.
Well, you have your Dartmouth jersey. I'm surprised you don't wear that every day.
It doesn't quite fit the same way.
A little more snug.
Actually, you know what? I think I was a little bigger in college, so I swim in that thing now.
Got it. Well,
I don't know. I need some Eagles stuff in here.
You have the Randall Cunningham. We have to get it signed.
Where? Oh, no.
What?
What did I do with that?
Perloff, no. No. You wore it to the Super Bowl.
No, I didn't. I ended up getting a press pass, so I had to wear a suit.
Right. You had a press pass, so you can't wear a jersey.
Move on.
Wait a minute.
Move on.
Can't move on. Where's the jersey?
I don't know.
No. Wait a minute. Are you messing with us?
Well, that would be great to hang up in the studio if I had any idea what I did with it. I don't remember.
We're borrowing it, and we're getting it signed by Randall Cunningham, and then we're going to give it back.
Listen.
Phil's going to be very upset.
Is this on me or is this on Phil? Phil, you trusted us. You screwed up.
Phil. Oh, now we can't be trusted. It's got it. You brought it back. There's no way you left it in the hotel room in Arizona, right?
That's very specific. What you just said that. Yes, there is a way I left it in the hotel room.
No, when you do everyone does a last run through of the hotel room. You do a last go through, right?
Yes,
and you would see a bright Kelly green, awesomely worn Randall Cunningham jersey, the same one you wore to the NFC Championship game, which helped propel the Eagles to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you think I would. All right, let's...
Although Perloff did forget his computer recently.
Were we talking about Justin Fields? Let's change the subject quickly. Far, far away from Philadelphia Eagles football.
Oh, man. Kemba in the chat says he'll be on Pawn Stars next season. Wait a minute. Oh, no, Phil. Phil.
Get the dump button ready.
Phil in Pennsylvania, who sent us the Randall Cunningham jersey. Phil, we're all finding this out together, man. We're going to do whatever we can to get the jersey back.
I know, but it's okay. I'm not overly worried about it. Just since Perloff didn't break his legs, skiing, I might have to do the honors myself. I'm just kidding, Perloff. I know you'll track it down eventually.
Wait, Phil, was there any sentimental value in this well-used number 12 jersey?
Yes.
No, I actually use it as backup toilet paper sometimes.
No, he told us the whole story about how he loves the jersey.
All right, Phil, not all is lost. It's got to be somewhere.
I don't know. It might be your dad's place whenever, I don't know. if you ever went to go see your parents or something like that, or maybe your missus.
Maybe. Do you want to text Tom and Carol right now?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just Phil. It's all good. Don't worry. Call tomorrow. I'm going to find it. Watch me show up tomorrow with a clearly brand new number 12 jersey. It's probably going to be a Jets number 12. No, I think
it's cross off Namath and put Cunningham.
So
in the
Super
back.
Bowl week was total chaos. It was crazy. The Eagles were in there. There was so much going on that I don't remember exactly where I put it, but I had to put it somewhere.
Wait.
I'm sure you did, but, if you can't find it, I will accept Super Bowl tickets next time the Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
Well, with all the free agency this offseason, I might take that deal.
Forget about it.
This season, but some year down the road, if you can't find it, I will accept that as, alternate payment for it.
Okay, how about this? How about regular season tickets to the Eagles? 2 tickets if I can't find it. Playoff game, wild card.
I can go down there myself and get tickets for a regular season game.
Yeah, that's
no, you can't.
Man.
Not after the Eagles are really hot right now. They're hard to get seats.
Yeah.
How about I give you a wild card round?
Seats. My dad and me have been getting seats for years and years and years, and never had a problem getting in. There's only one game since my dad's alive that he wasn't able to get into. So getting into a game, that's not really a problem. Getting into the Super Bowl, that might be a problem. But
how about getting into the game, a soft pretzel, and 1 beer on Perloff?
Hold on. Have we already given up on finding the jersey?
What jersey?
Oh no, Phil!
What are we even talking about right now? The question, first of all, does anyone really own a jersey? I mean, Randall Cunningham owned the number 12 jersey.
Wait a minute.
Did Phil own the jersey in any real sense?
Oh no! Wait, I'm mortified. Perloff, we're gonna find the jersey.
I have faith that you will find it.
I hope so.
We'll keep you updated.
And this is all just, funny banter.
I hope so.
I don't know, Phil, about that. I hope this is coming off as funny. And to be honest, I'm nervous. I'm sorry. It was RPC who said check the pawn store.
I mean, Phil did just say he's going to come and break Perloff's legs, so I feel like, we have to watch out now.
Well, the security around here is airtight.
I'd rather not test that.
Stu, you got it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Somebody who looks like a name might be Phil from Pennsylvania walks in looking to break Perloff's kneecaps.
We don't know what Phil looks like. Anybody can walk in here like,
yeah.
Yeah, if someone walks in and says, I want to break Perloff's kneecaps, you have to ask which state he's from so we can organize which...
I'm sorry, are you Keith?
Which conflict we're talking about here.
There's a line that's forming right over here to the right.
Take a number.
Wait a minute. When you unpacked your suitcase...
Yeah. Don't talk to me like
what?
I'm a normal person here. I'm not. I lose things. I admit that.
I know. You're one of those people.
My wife would be like, "So you unpack the suitcase, then where did it go?" Yeah, I know. It was in the suitcase at some point. If I knew the answer to that, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help you retrace your steps. I thought maybe it would a light bulb would go off and you'd be like, "Oh, the laundry."
Sorry, I'm actually shopping for Randall Cunningham jerseys on Fanatics.
Used Randall Cunningham jerseys? No one's ever going to trust us ever again with their memorabilia.
Oh, my gosh. They're all like $190.
You lost a valuable resource here.
Which is why Phil really trusted us with the jersey. He said, Phil, did this have any sentimental value? He goes, no, I use it as toilet paper.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
And I guess I can't give him a Vikings Randall Cunningham. That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, this is bad.
Wait, is the Viking Randall Cunningham that much cheaper?
A little cheaper. Oh, this is bad.
How about the Raiders?
This is bad. Yeah, he was a Raider, wasn't he?
Yeah.
They don't even sell those.
Man,
this is bad. This is bad.
All right, well, it's going to have to be an all hands on deck situation. Every member of the Perloff household is going to have to get involved here.
I like how he's already given up all hope of potentially even finding it.
Yeah, now he's just like, so what can I get you? Super Bowl tickets and a soft pretzel? It's escalated quickly.
I said wild card, assuming the Eagles aren't going to get the bye again.
Yeah, I know. Way to have faith in the team.
But I was fully willing to pretend that, I was going to get you wild card, but I can't get you divisional round.
Man.
Meanwhile, Phil, I could get tickets to a regular season game.
Well, I mean, he's got the connection. That's not what he wants. He wants us to sign it,
Super
to get
Bowl.
it signed.
That's awful. Do you think the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl? Do I have to worry about this? Can I promise Super Bowl tickets? I think it's a promise I can make because the odds of the Eagles making him back are not that good.
I don't know what your word really means right now. All you had to do was get a jersey from one state to another state, and we've failed miserably at that.
And he did want it signed.
And we haven't done that yet either.
Oh, boy. I might need to call Randall to get him to help with this.
He doesn't know us or anything. Hey, Randall, it's us. Can you help us out of a jam? Oh, man. The latest on the Cowboys, what Stephen Jones had to say about Dak.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Perloff looks at me and goes, the natty? Really? He said it was like someone calling something cool the bomb. I think people are still saying the natty.
This is not about hip or not hip. It's not like any 21-year-old walking in Brooklyn and saying the natty.
Do you call winning the championship the chip?
If you said he's got 2 chips, oh boy, I would have really given you a look.
Washed has somehow maintained a much longer presence than it ever should have.
I get my lettuce at the grocery store triple washed.
This is the man claiming to be the coolest person on the show.
I'm definitely hipper than Axe.
Ackerman,
I don't know about
you gonna take
that. I wouldn't go there.
Wearing a Ralph Lauren polo 3/4.
Yeah,
sure.
What's wrong with that? A little
You
class.
make Eli Manning look like he's ready to walk the catwalk at Fashion Week.
Who are you, Ralph Lauren himself?
When did the Mannings become fashion icons?
They did not.
Step off, Dad.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Welcome back to the show. This is Maggie and Perloff on this Monday. Perloff's back from his ski weekend. We'll get to that in just a moment. But you're still walking on both legs. They don't appear to be injured at all, unlike LeBron James. Now, yesterday it was like a crazy swing of emotions. Stu, I'm sure this was wild for you because the Lakers had this amazing comeback, right, against the Dallas Mavs. Win the game. They've now won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. Everything since the trade deadline is looking up and up.
Oh, yeah. The new guys are great.
Vanderbilt, excellent addition. Yeah. Beasley, excellent addition. I mean, they are just clicking. And yet LeBron said he heard a pop yesterday. So they don't play again until tomorrow night. I believe they're at OKC. Got to double check. Yes, at OKC. Excuse me, at Memphis first, pardon me. Then at OKC. So they play Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a back-to-back. Now, normally I would say, well, of course LeBron's not going to play. But LeBron is the one who just said these last games are the most important regular season games of his career, Perloff.
Yeah, these are all important games. I think they're going to be fine because their teams above them, they're actually tanking who are still in the playoff picture because everyone gets in the playoffs now. So they're going to make the playoffs. Now, I heard a pop and limping pretty severely after the game. Listen, he hurt it in the third quarter, continued to play and play at a high level. So obviously it's not that serious to me. This is going to sound a little bit critical. Remember when Big Ben used to limp around a lot and talk about his injuries?
You think he's milking it?
I think LeBron has a flair for the dramatic. I think that if he has an injury, he will let you know about it. So this does not scare me. I think this is just LeBron. LeBron
he's ratcheting up the drama.
He just talks a lot, and I think we ask him a lot of questions. Yeah. I think LeBron does like to sort of keep the attention on LeBron and everything going on. So this doesn't surprise me. This does not scare me. I think he's just setting up just a better story for when he puts it all together and this team does better than everyone expects.
Well, I thought it was interesting when I saw a tweet from my friend Andrew Perloff over the weekend that said... I said last week I got in on the Lakers at plus 4,000. To win the title.
To win the title. So I put barely any money, but the payoff was huge. Now it's already down to 2,200 after the trade deadline. Yeah. That's a huge, it's almost it's a massive, 100% better.
A massive drop.
I reinvested more because I will tell you right now, Anthony Davis being this good, as long as LeBron has one leg, this team, I'm sorry, I'm not.
This team looks like it kind of fits. Like
you're more into the Lakers than I am, I think. I think that's fair to say.
I don't think they're a title contender. I think that's still ridiculous.
I don't either, but I think they're an interesting dark horse because the West, who's really the favorite in the West? Who is really the unbeatable team in the West? If you give me Anthony Davis playing like he did yesterday, I don't look at them in a series against the Lakers and say this is going to be a sweep or anything. I think the West has a wide open feel, so why not take a flyer? It feels like more of a flyer year to me than a favorite year. And the Lakers are a flyer that happens to have Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
I think it's not bad for a flyer, but I can't look at these. Listen, it was great yesterday against the Mavs, but I think the Mavs have their own problems, clearly. When Luka and Kyrie on the floor together, obviously you lose a lot of defense or any kind of defensive intensity. And so that goes away. I think that there are a lot of flawed teams in the West, but I can't automatically say, oh, I think that, here we go. Now the Lakers are title contenders. But I'll tell you what, man, I hate to pile on Westbrook, but if this is real, it's not it. But if this really was the catalyst of just getting him out, well, LeBron deserves criticism for that because he's the one who brought him in. But
true.
The fact they finally got, I can't even say out of the building because he's just at the Clippers over the other locker room. But this team just makes a lot more sense. Vanderbilt, who can play alongside Anthony Davis. Davis was excellent yesterday, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks.
Big jumper at the end.
Hit and turnaround fadeaways. I mean, when he can do that, it's incredible. Beasley didn't even have a good shooting game. He was 3 for 14 and 2 from 11 from 3. But the fact is he's out there getting wide open looks. Schroeder has, I think, always been a solid point guard. Listen, bet on himself in a bad way. And then Hachimura, you're not going to be looking at him really for scoring, but solid off the bench.
The other thing, too, so they got Russell Westbrook. If you look at the other contenders, this helps with my bet.
Yeah.
They sabotaged the Clippers by letting them get Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
They were my favorite title teams. I love Kawhi. But now, come on, it's impossible for someone to win an NBA title with Russell Westbrook. He's just immediately going to kill your offense in the clutch. So you have Denver, never does anything in the postseason. Memphis, unproven. Sacramento, very young. Phoenix is scary. But other than that, I mean, you have teams like Dallas, Golden State, still we don't know if they're going to be fully actualized. It has a wide open feel in the West.
Absolutely it does. I think it is setting up for Denver, though, just because if they have everyone healthy, then I think this is sort of finally the year. Because if not now, then when is it ever going to happen?
But they're not built.
Them getting to the finals.
Players like Luka and Joker are built for the regular season. Are they built for the playoffs?
Well, I mean,
that high usage sort of, it's a very James Harden-y where you get all the stats. Triple doubles are wonderful in the MVP voting. They don't really work in the playoffs. I'm not so into Denver.
I know. Well, we put $5 bets, and you put yours on the Clippers, and I put mine on the Nuggets, basically to spite you because you don't think Jokic should get a third straight MVP.
This is partly my Sixer fan and wanting Joel Embiid to win it. I don't think the Sixers are really built for a title either. Certain teams just seem to have that special formula. The Warriors had it last year. The Bucks had it with Giannis. Can you know what I'm saying? Denver, something about Denver seems like a regular season team now.
Want to know if the Laker fans out there are starting to believe it. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Stu's our resident Laker fan. You starting to buy it a little bit, Stu?
Not as title contenders. I think they're a team that can win a playoff series, maybe.
Mean, you win one playoff series if you're the Lakers, you forget. The hype of them is going to be off the charts. Why can't you win 3? Who are you beating in this? If you were in the first round, if you win a playoff series, you're beating one of the top 2 seeds.
Yeah, so, but then you would probably play a team like the Suns later, I don't know, or the Grizzlies later, or the Nuggets later. I don't know. They can maybe win a series. I'm not saying they're going to win a series, but I think they could maybe push a team and win a series.
I'd be dubious of the Suns. I am dubious of the Suns.
You'd be scared of the Suns?
No, I'm not buying it.
What?
I know. But
I totally buy that team. How can you not buy them?
Because you're asking a team to gel on the fly with 20 games or whatever left. Maybe Kevin Durant's going to finally make his debut. What do we think? Wednesday, I think they have a game. So he's going to make his debut for the Suns. You just don't have a lot of time. We were talking about our boss, Spike Eskin, hosts the 76ers podcast called The Right Turkey Sanchez, and they just had Daryl Morey, the general manager, as their guest. And he said that when Harden was traded to the 76ers midseason, he underestimated how much time it was going to take for all of them to gel together. Now, maybe that's an excuse from the 76ers about why they fell short, but I think there has to be something to that.
Well, I mean, you could add James Harden to the 92 Dream Team, and they would have won the bronze. So I don't know what Daryl Morey is talking about. I mean, obviously, there's no team that James Harden's going to gel into because he can ruin any team. So that's a ridiculous point. It is true. Didn't Spike give us another stat? There hasn't been a midseason acquisition who's led them all the way since the 90s. Well, Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler going to Houston.
And the Rockets. And
they had a couple other really good players.
You mentioned Rasheed Wallace sort of came in with Detroit. Wasn't the star, but was a key role player. I mean, again, getting back to this fact that the West is very undefined. I think I'm buying Kevin Durant and the Suns. And the Warriors, too. The Warriors, Steph Curry comes back. All of a sudden, they're in the mix, too. I don't count anybody out in the West except for Sacramento. I can't see that happening.
Well, that'd be a fun story.
They're the number 3 seed. I mean, that might be fun. If the Lakers got to 6 and faced Sacramento in the first round, that would be a great first round.
It's like, congratulations, Sacramento. You haven't made the playoffs in like 16 years. Here's LeBron James and Anthony Davis who just made a late push to get into the playoffs. Okay, very timely poll question right now. Did you put this out on Twitter too, Samter, or is it just in the chat?
Just in the chat for now.
Okay. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. Obviously, we're across the country on all of our CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We love you guys. We're Sirius XM Channel 158. We're on the free Odyssey app, which I should mention is crystal clear when you use that. Okay. Would any of you trust Maggie or Perloff with your valuable memorabilia ever again? How did I get into this?
Can I just make a statement?
This is like I'm getting sideswiped here.
Maggie Gray is completely responsible.
What?
I am not. No, you're a
you're a responsible person.
You're a responsible person.
I thought he meant that same way.
I didn't wear the Cunningham jersey. I didn't lose the Cunningham jersey.
Yeah, that did come out.
From Phil in
Actually, that's a better take. This is all Maggie's fault. Where's my camera? I have to find my camera here. Maggie Gray told me, you have to bring the jersey out to Super Bowl. It's going to be the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Bring it out there. Nothing bad could happen.
Well, I did tell you had to bring it out because you wore it to the NFC Championship game, and if you didn't bring it to the Super Bowl, you would have... Like, you're tempting the sports gods there.
Wasn't it also Maggie, though, when you were getting ready to start packing? She's like, don't worry about it. Just get your stuff ready and come on out. Let's go.
Yeah, she said...
She rushed you. And
she said, the Uber's down here. The Uber's down here.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do.
I feel
just
like
get
I
out of
remember
the room.
all this.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I was the one who pulled the fire alarm in the hotel just for S's and G's, just to get Perloff out of the room as quickly as possible.
No, Maggie's very organized and would treat your things well. I may or may not, but please mail in things to Maggie.
Well, Sully trusted me with a
you're totally trustworthy. And I like this idea of people mailing us things. Okay, so it didn't go well with Phil. That doesn't mean next time I won't not lose your precious jersey.
So it didn't go well with Phil. He was nice enough to send us a Randall Cunningham jersey, thinking we were going to get it signed, and you lost it. That's not going to make other people.
That's where we're at right now. Yes, but the story's not over yet.
I hope not.
It appears that is what happened.
Actually, this has reminded me of something. So Perloff was off on Friday, and Sal Licata was filling in for you. And you did get a very rave review without you even being here.
Yes.
Now, the conversation turned to Sal basically had a major faux pas where he went up to Mike Piazza and interrupted his breakfast in a total cringe way. And then the story ended up having a happy ending where, not a happy ending, a nice outcome where Piazza and him are now friends.
The happy ending is your story from the weekend that we'll get to later, right?
I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, we'll get to that later. A nice outcome. And so we asked people, what are your awkward celebrity encounters?
Okay.
And we got dozens of people who called in, and we had a super fun show talking about awkward encounters. And the very last call of the day was Josh and Eugene.
So in 2003, Michigan had visited Autzen Stadium. Perloff was there for the Dan Patrick Show, had a booth of sorts, and I was a huge, Dan Patrick Show fan. Kind of caught him at halftime, and we struck up conversation. I invited him to my family's tailgater, which is big grassy spot, and he's like, yeah, I'll come down there in a couple minutes. And so he came down, hung out for almost the entire halftime, had a bratwurst, soda pop, but he visited with the fam and all the friends and stuff, so it was pretty cool.
Okay, so not awkward, but look at you, celebrity encounter.
Well,
showing up at the tailgate.
I got to tell you right now, you really don't want to. If you come up to me and say something nice like, "Hey, do you want to have a conversation or something?" I will take it up. I'll take you up on that and go farther than any time. If you want 5 minutes of my time, I'll give you 45 minutes. If you say, hey, come down to the tailgate, I'll spend the next week with you.
Perloff's now cousin it living in the basement.
Yeah, I think he meant 2013 because that's when I was at an Oregon game. And I kind of remember that, and he was great. But yeah, I think you're kind of the same way too. We're definitely not stuck-up celebrities. We're more like, you got to be careful because you will get too much Maggie and Perloff if you come up to us on the road.
All of a sudden, we're trading phone numbers. We're texting a lot.
Showing old family photos. Yeah.
Asking to borrow your clothes. Maybe wear your Eagles jersey. Maybe lose it.
You ever heard of Tenacious D, Jack Black's faux comedy rock band? They have one fan, Tenacious D, this band, and they end up stalking their fan. So the fan can't get rid of them, and he's desperately trying. I'm closer to that, so I'm not surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely friendly at events because I'm lonely mostly.
Looking for anyone to talk to?
Yeah.
Let alone if you offer free food.
I think anyone calls into Maggie and Perloff with offer to a tailgate, we'll pretty much be there.
Yeah, why not? 855, we got nothing going on. 212-4CBS-855.
Just don't give me your jersey. Don't give me your prized Notre Dame jersey.
Yeah, or anything like that. Oh, man, we got to find this thing.
Do you know where it is by any chance?
No. You think I got Eagles jerseys laying around?
I don't know. You sure think really hard.
Maybe I have it in my bag.
No, I just don't know where it is.
That's the problem.
Yes.
That is a problem.
How about over on that side of the glass? Mike, Stu, do you guys know where that Eagles jersey is?
I do remember when I was sifting through the entire bag of Maggie and Perloff shirts we got at the happy hour that I did see a green thing in there. I just didn't think anything of it, so maybe it's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
All right.
When things are just lying around at a happy hour, they don't get lost.
Right? How is it that the happy hour is more responsible than Perloff?
I've lost more things at a happy hour than any other place.
I'm glad. I should have said when Phil called in and said, "Where's my jersey?" I was going to say, "Phil, do you have your jersey?"
Didn't I send it back to you? Wait, Phil, we never received it.
Yeah, right.
Phil, I mailed it back. It's in the mail. Oh no, I don't even know Phil's address.
We have it, right? Yeah, we do.
All right.
Sure. Samter is mildly responsible, I think.
Very mild. Very, very mild. Mild enough to not lose the jersey, though.
Are we sure? You might have it.
Oh, actually, hold on. Wait a second. No, you gave it to me.
What?
No, you didn't.
Oh, God. You fooled me.
I could imagine just like, Samter, hold this. And then a month later, you got that thing? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227.
By the way,
you should look in the office.
By the way, some people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, we love your work on the radio, love the Maggie and Perloff show." With you, it's usually really, really glowing. Once in a while, the New York fans can be a little problematic. I have to admit.
That's how they show love.
Yes, I had people from Oregon who listen to Dan Patrick show. You had that FAN crowd. They make me nervous a little bit.
It was actually funny. We were getting our new headshots taken, which will debut soon. And the photographer was there. Yeah. And he was like, "Hey, Maggie, love listening to you when you're on the Fan, but you had this Nets take that I really disagreed with." Yeah. Like, oh, hi. What was it? Don't remember.
Yeah, seriously, there could be a conversation you had about the Yankees DH in 2019 that there's still bad vibes about.
All right, we have to get to Perloff's ski weekend. Haven't done that, but we want your Lakers calls at 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Where do you see as the ceiling for LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and this new-look Laker team? Impressive. They won 4 out of the last 5. LeBron has called these games the most important regular season games of his career. So we'll get to that. We got a lot more to do, including, Perloff came in guns blazing about this new rule change that you couldn't get enough of. We'll get to that in just a moment, too. You are listening to the Maggie and Perloff show on CBS Sports Radio. You're watching us at youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back on Maggie and Perloff. Give us a call, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. If you have an issue with any of our NBA takes, including my long shot bet on the Lakers to win the watered-down West. Yeah, you heard me. Watered-down West. If you have a case for any team in the Western Conference, I'd like to hear it because I'm not buying it.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Let's get to Russell, who's in California. You're on CBS Sports Radio. What's up, Russell?
Oh, let's see here. It is Monday, I believe. I checked my calendar right. Maggie, always a pleasure. Perloff, not so much.
Oh,
but
man.
with that said, I know that both you, East Coast, and when it's 9 p.m. there, it's only 6 p.m. in the West. But Perloff, have you watched any of the Sacramento Kings this year?
Maggie, haven't I stayed up late every single night watching the Kings? No,
Massive Kings fan.
I'll be honest. I have not watched a ton of Kings this year. I'm going to be totally honest about that.
And I know it's a shocker, third in the West. That's not like them. But just a couple things. You know who the number one team, right, in the league is for scoring points this year so far.
Is it Sacramento?
It's Sacramento.
Look at that. You know what? It's about damn time with Sacramento. Yeah. And this team is super likable, just like, the last time the Sacramento Kings were making the playoffs and made the Western Conference Finals. Likable team. This time, though, young stars. That was not as much young stars. But, Russell, we were just talking about this, right? You got Mike Brown, who's coached in some really big games. And you have, obviously, Harrison Barnes, who's a champion. We were wondering if the younger guys just haven't, this is like uncharted waters for them. Are they a year early, right? Like, could we expect they'll get some experience now? I know Kevin Huerter played in Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago with the Hawks, but, by and large, this team has not played a lot of big games.
You know what they say in basketball, obviously defense, but chemistry plays a huge, huge role there.
Yeah.
Would you like to take another guess where the Kings rank in assists this year?
Number one?
Well, if they're leading in scoring, it's not that big a stretch to imagine they're leading in assists.
Probably a lot of offensive categories.
1 and 3 in those categories. That's not too bad, but you're right. Chemistry is everything, and their coach has got them fully bought in.
Okay, Russell.
What he's talking about.
You were talking a big game, some kind of wager here, and how far do they have to go?
Any dirty Philadelphia Eagle laundry you want to lose, I'll even dig up something.
Well, wait, do you have an old Chris Webber Kings jersey that you want to send my way? Because that's my favorite team of all time.
I have a Bibby
Chris
jersey.
Webber, Bibby. Oh, you have a Bibby jersey? I love that team. They were robbed by the officials.
Definitely were fun. But you know what? I'll do this. I'll just bet you this. They will finish better than the Lakers, period.
Well, come on.
Call your show again. If
that's
that
not a
happen.
bet.
Russell, I will drive to Sacramento if the Sacramento Kings win the NBA title. I will drive to Sacramento, and I will deliver you a Chris Webber jersey because there's no way this is happening. I'm very confident. That's what we're talking about finals right now. We're not talking about who's good.
A deal. I'm marking my calendar right now.
Yeah.
Okay, February 27th. I'm often listen to you guys because you guys are great. You've been doing a fantastic job, and I certainly appreciate it. But I will call you back. Obviously, nobody plays a lot of defense during the regular season. Everybody knows that in the NBA.
Right.
When it starts to come down to crunch time, before they actually start the playoffs, yes, I will be making another phone call.
Got it.
Okay. Well,
got it.
There we go. Russell, we'll mark it down. Thank you for the phone call. You're going to drive to Sacramento? Does that mean I got to drive with you?
Yes.
Wait, and do you think you
Well, wait, I mention I'm flying to San Francisco first, so we're going from SFO to Sacramento.
It's stop in Tahoe. I think what I think is hilarious is you couldn't get the Randall Cunningham jersey from Phoenix back to the East Coast, back to New York, but somehow you think you could get a Weber jersey across the entire United States without losing it.
Sounds like the plot of a movie. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or 80 for Brady, the younger version. No, I love the Kings. They're awesome. I was talking about De'Aaron Fox the other day. I think he's a superstar. But come on, are they really? We're talking about contenders here, and there just are not any surefire things in the West.
Well, that helps them, though. It's like maybe they ran into a moment where they've got a lot of good chemistry.
Yeah.
They are a really talented team, and because there's no juggernaut, unless Steph Curry comes back and looks like Steph Curry, then I think it's hard to count out the Warriors going on another run.
Really, but I don't see them, even with Curry back, being the juggernaut that they were last year.
Well, but were they? They kind of came on a little bit late.
Yeah. Well, by Game 6 of the finals, they were.
Yeah, by Game 6 of the finals, they really were.
By Game 6 of the finals of the fourth quarter, I knew it was going to happen, Maggie. No, they felt much stronger compared to everyone. They were the story of last year. Remember, the second half of the season, the Warriors, I think, really looked way better than everybody else, except the Celtics.
But Draymond was hurt. Remember his back issue that lingered last year? And it was like, is Clay going to be his old self? I mean, there was a lot of question marks.
Okay, this year there's so many more question marks about every single team there, except the one team on paper who's unbeatable is the Nuggets, except that they've never done it. Yeah. They never do it.
No, that's impossible. So Perloff was all fired up today because he came in, he's like, did you see this? Did you see what the competition committee is talking about in the NFL? It's like, no, what? Are they changing? they might make roughing the passer reviewable. Like, this is what you're into, but you were really into the idea that roughing the passer might be reviewable. I don't know if they could do it. I wish they would.
Yeah.
But I worry that slowed down, any hit can look much less than it actually is. Like when it's in slow-mo.
No, it looks worse.
See, I think because that's why people get all upset about this phantom roughing the passer, because when it's slowed down, I think it doesn't look as bad. When it's in real time, you're like, boom.
Well, I think the reality is actually, I don't think they're going to make it reviewable. Because first of all, they're always going to err on the side of protecting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they'd rather have the rule be, say 100% is where the rule should be. They'd rather have it at 140%. They are over, legislating this rule to keep the quarterback safe, and they're not going to change on that. The second thing is, do you remember when they tried to review pass interference? They couldn't do it because
after the Saints debacle.
Yes, because that's a kind of penalty where there's a gray area and it's too much of a judgment call, and it didn't work. In real time, if they made this reviewable, they're smart. They know it would be a mess. They know that what would happen was it would be some light hit and they wouldn't overturn it and everyone would be mad. So I think that they're trying to avoid even more controversy. So I just don't think it's going to pass. But my take is it has way too much of an impact on the game. Do you have to make it 15 yards every time?
Well, I mean, yeah, because I think they don't want guys teeing off on the quarterbacks. Like, that's the whole thing. If it was only a 5-yard penalty, dudes would be getting thrown around like it was the 90s.
Well, if you throw them around like it's the 90s, then you get 15 yards. But
if it's like incidental or whatever, if you can't defy the laws of physics because you're 350 pounds.
Falling on it, that's a great way to put it. If you can't avoid falling on the guy, make it 5 yards, like the punting penalty. There's roughing the punter, and then there's a 5-yard roughing the punter.
Right.
So do that because, come on, you know that roughing the quarterback is ridiculously overcompensated with yardage.
Well, I mean, and look what happened in the AFC Championship game. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes was going out of bounds, and Osai definitely pushed him. You know, by the letter of the law, definitely a roughing the passer. But
that actually wasn't roughing the passer. That was a late hit.
Late hit, personal foul.
Which could be on any position, right?
That's true.
So that really wasn't the exact same rule. I don't know. I do like they're headed in the right direction with officiating. I know you're looking at the Sky Judge stuff.
Strong disagree.
Nobody's been more critical of the officials than you this year.
I just think the Sky Judge stuff they did this year, the instant replay, the fast replay.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It worked a lot more than it used to be. And the Super Bowl, we really did. Wait, am I missing something? Oh, right, we had that hold at the end. But the Super Bowl, I was about to say, was not defined by bad calls, but there was one bad call at the end.
It definitely was. That shouldn't have been defensive holding. At that moment, no.
But at least it wasn't a factual mistake because it was technically defensive holding.
I mean,
I'm still mad at the slick field that the NFL put in there to help the Chiefs.
You moved all of your anger from the defensive holding to the field.
Yeah, I actually wasn't that mad about the defensive holding. I thought
you and James Bradbury both.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles lost that game at about 14 different times. That's not why they lost the game. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I do. Because if not, then you would have gotten the ball back, presumably. Even if the Chiefs had scored. At least we would have had a little more time for Jalen Hurts to try to go on a game-winning drive.
Yeah. Do you go on the record? Do you think they should review roughing the passer?
I'm a review everything person.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, I mean, we have the technology. Let's use it. Let's just make it faster. I love this from Jeffrey Howell in the chat. He says, sometimes when I think I lost my glasses, I'm actually wearing them.
Yeah, happens to me.
Maybe Perloff is wearing the Cunningham jersey under the hoodie.
Nope.
Good try. Good try, Jeff.
And we all have been with me when I can't find my glasses and they're on my face. So it's got to be close.
I forgot, actually, Perloff forgot his glasses the other day, too.
Oh, yeah. I forgot them the day we were shooting these famous headshots.
Yeah, I know. Where the photographer had a bone to pick with me about a Nets take I had 2 years ago.
And I said, dude, you can't take the headshots. The glasses, that's my look, man. And he's like, dude, you don't have a look. Just shut up and pose.
Shut up and pose. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Take your phone calls on the Lakers on the Western Conference. And do you see a contender when you're watching LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and company? Coming up, we have big controversy swirling around the NFL right now. We'll get to it in just a moment, right after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, Carson Wentz is moving on again. Released by the Commanders. He'll save over $26 million on the salary cap. The former second pick overall has spent the last 3 seasons with 3 different teams. The Bears are the number 1 pick, but have a quarterback, and with several available and several teams desperate for one, they could get a lot for that pick. Of the team has reportedly been approached by multiple teams and is said to be interested in moving that pick. Bucs co-owner Mark Lazary has an agreement with the Browns owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, to sell his portion of the team for $3.5 billion. Lazary purchased the Bucs with Wes Edens in 2014, and since, the team has won a championship, remains a contender, and also moved into a new arena. Milwaukee has currently won 14 straight and idle tonight. They're a half game behind the Celtics for the lead in the East. Boston will face the Knicks in New York following a buzzer beater on Saturday. New York has won its last 5, while the Sixers left to pick up the pieces from that loss and will host the Heat tonight. Philly now 4 games back in the conference. Miami has lost its last 4. The top 5 in the AP top 25 remains unchanged, with Houston 1 for the second straight week, followed by Alabama, Kansas, UCLA, and Purdue. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is Zach Gelb. CBS Sports Radio has moved to SiriusXM Channel 158, or listen to us on your local affiliate. Find your station at Odyssey.com/stations.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
On Maggie and Perloff. People are saying you look tan today, Perloff. What's happening? What were you doing? Something fabulous? That's windburn from the ski slopes, Maggie. Maybe if you saw my coat today, it had that cool ski tag on it.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't put it on the zipper that goes up the front so that when the wind comes, it goes right in your face.
That information would have been helpful 3 days ago.
That's when you know it's amateur. It's like that's someone who's never skied before. You got to put the lift ticket on your pocket.
Yeah, well, I'm totally amateur. We'll get into that story in a minute. I think you'll enjoy it thoroughly.
I can't wait. I mean, we thought you were going to walk in on crutches or something with like a neck brace. But you seem fully fine. Let's go to Jay, who's in Alabama. Our pal. Let's talk about the Lakers. Hey, Jay, what's up?
What's up, Maggie?
How you doing?
And Perloff, what's going on, man? Like, come on with the hot takes like that, bro. Like, you really think the Lakers are going to win the West?
No, I don't think so, but I think they're worth a flyer at 4,000 odds. It's 400 to 1. 41 actually. But
okay, I thought you were like coming with one of them hot takes, like hot take Hickey. He's the only one that just says outlandish stuff like that.
Hot take Hickey, Ryan. Wait, but no, Perloff. Hold on though, Jay. Not to betray anything, Perloff, but we were talking in the break. You're like, it really is wide open in the West. Like we continue the conversation. You guys can watch us on YouTube. We continue the conversation in the break. And you're like, I think I'm talking myself into this because the West is so wide open.
Right. I actually, it's exactly what happened. Jay, at 40 to 1, I mean, who are you taking that you really, really feel good about in the West? If you had to pick one team, even odds, who are you going to take?
I'm really taking the Suns. And really, I think we all know that Durant is basically the LeBron equalizer because, like, don't nobody have defense for him. And I think it just, somebody like Durant, nobody's got defense for him or anything like that. And then you got them other two. You got a floor general and everything. And really, when we're talking about Chris Paul, he has a basketball IQ like LeBron, but he's got a sharpshooter like Durant, and then he's got a young buck like your boy Devin Bruce, I think it is.
Devin Booker.
And yeah, I mean, it's just let them gel a little bit. And Durant is the type, he don't need to gel with you. Just give him the ball and let him just be an assassin out there, which basically he is.
Jay, you have a good point that of all the people to work into a rotation, Durant would be the easiest because he can play, and his style of play is not in any way disruptive to what anyone else is doing. The problem is, as you mentioned, all that smarts and expertise that Chris Paul has, it's going to do you nothing if he's on the bench in street clothes.
Yeah, you're right about that. Man, Maggie always trumps something that you say with some logic.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Listen, he might not. Maybe he is healthy this time. Maybe it's an outlier. Jay, I got a good movie for you, dude.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What about that NFL rule? I think you guys were saying they're going to try to replay roughing the passer.
They're thinking about it.
Yeah, get ready for more calls to be made because instant replay at it makes hits look even worse because it's slow motion.
See, I think it'd go the other way. I think sometimes you look at things in slow motion and it's like, well, it didn't look that bad. I think at full speed it always looks bad.
No, I think the quarterback, when you see the quarterback, his helmet hits the ground in slow-mo and his body's rumpling. Not only that, they're going to call it. Jay, you have an interesting point. They're going to throw the flag and say, let's look at it on tape. So they're going to actually throw more flags.
It's possible.
Hey, remember Aaron Rodgers getting sacked and his helmet was sideways when he was laying on the ground?
Oh, yeah, I love that.
See that?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys have a good day. I don't want to hold you up.
No, I got a good movie for you. If you're into thrillers, you into thrillers?
Yeah. More sci-fi, though.
No, it's not sci-fi. It's just a thriller trending on Netflix. You guys got to watch the Strays. Ho, ho, ho. Jay, thank you for the call. Scary.
Yeah, no interest.
Thriller.
Yeah.
Had it all. Delivered.
Yeah.
Good twist and a good ending.
I told you last week my daughter made me watch It, which is not even that scary, and that had me sleepless for about 2 nights.
Okay, so you guys take the ski vacation up to the mountains, and you told me you were not going to ski. What made you actually change your mind?
Okay, a couple things. So we stayed in the actual hotel from The Shining. It was voted 10 years in a row North America's most haunted ski lodge.
Why did you do that?
It was built in 1898, and it was so haunted. It was insane. It was so haunted, it wasn't even scary. Basically, I joked on Twitter. You checked in and said, do you want the wing with the Evil Dead twins on tricycles, or would you prefer the headless maid? It was crazy. But it was a hotel who had their own ski slope. So it was totally not embarrassing. I don't like going on big, crowded ski slopes. I've skied before,
right?
But I'm bad.
Do you think someone's going to be like, is that McLovin?
No, I just think I'm annoying. I'm going down 3 miles an hour. And
so you're self-conscious.
I'm self-conscious, yes. It stinks being a bad skier because everyone's judging you.
Yeah, I mean, get off the slopes, Grandpa.
Yeah, basically. And I was like that from when I was 12. Yeah, I've always not liked skiing.
Barbara says Red Rum McLovin.
So basically, I was like, there's no one on the slope. I can get on there. It's no big deal. I probably haven't skied since 2004. But there was absolutely no one on the slope.
Okay.
They had something called a Poma lift. Now, do you know what this is?
Like a T-bar?
It's like a T-bar, right. It's a metal bar that comes down.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It looks like a dental tool.
Yes, it's the worst. You basically stand up and get dragged up the mountain.
So they had no chair lift, not a traditional chair lift.
No chair lift because it's so small. They didn't have the magic carpet ride lift for beginners or anything. Yeah. So my wife falls on. My wife's an unbelievable skier.
Yeah, no,
She's
but it's
great.
easy to fall on those things.
So she falls the first time up and loses her poles, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
You didn't laugh.
I did laugh, and I was like, that's not gonna happen to me.
Karma.
That's not gonna happen to me. So you do a bunch of runs on this small mountain. I did about 10 runs on this small mountain. The last one, and I was still laughing at my wife for falling off this thing. For some reason, I just didn't get it. When it started going up the mountain, I didn't get it. I go about 8 feet up the mountain. I lose total control of the thing. The thing flies away from me. This T-bar lift flies away from me, comes back. I go to the ground, comes back, it hits me in the face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this metal bar hits me in the face, almost knocks me out, and flies off. And the 3 people working this mountain are laughing hysterically. And
they should be trying to help you.
No. It wasn't. It was more of a let's laugh at this person. It didn't feel super dangerous. But if you see, there's a cut on the side of my face from the T-bar.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice before, but yep.
Yeah, it could have hit me in the head and knocked me out.
I got to be honest, you're tall.
Yeah.
You're very tall, and you got, long limbs.
Yes. So you thought I was going to really fall.
When you go down, it's got to be pretty spectacular. It's a lot of gangly, and then the poles and the skis.
I'm going down this mountain, and, I'm basically going horizontal to the mountain the entire time. I am turning so severely. So the last thing I want to do is pick up any speed whatsoever. Because if I start going down at 6'3", I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to go through the bottom of the mountain, through the parking lot, into the highway, past the highway, into the forest.
Walmart, yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't have a lot of control. So I know to keep it as slow as I can. So I avoided that big kind of fall. But I did get hit in the face by a T-bar. That kind of hurt.
That is awful.
Yeah.
And I hope your wife was there to Nelson from The Simpsons, right in your face.
No, my wife, she's one of these expert skiers who has no patience for anybody. She's like, I know you haven't skied in a while. I'll go down the first couple runs with you, make sure you're okay.
And then I'm out.
quarter of the way down the first run, she's like, "This is too boring. I'm out." Quarter of the way down.
Well, I mean, if it's a slope that doesn't even have a chairlift, that's very remedial.
Yeah. This
That's like a bunny hill.
Well, the other thing too is on the East Coast. I mean, this was pure ice. So basically,
that's East Coast skiing, baby.
People, the skiers are up there. Were flying everywhere on this ice. It was incredibly dangerous. Not only that, it was 60 degrees the day before. There wasn't an ounce of real snow. So it was just this bed of ice with rocks on the left, and people were getting injured all over. But it was fun. I don't really get skiing. Do people find skiing fun? I've never really enjoyed it.
I mean, I'm a skier. And there is that moment at one point, in every run where you're just like hitting top speed and you feel great and the wind's going in your face and you're like, yeah, this is living. And then, but it's like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, especially with kids. Jeez, I can't even imagine.
And then also, if you ever get on a mountain with snowboarders and skiers, then it's a constant battle and collision course.
The snowboarders and skiers just should not be on the same hill together.
Yeah.
Each one hates each other.
Hates.
Because, the snowboarders ruin the moguls for the skiers, and the skiers are not going fast enough for the snowboarders or whatever it is. Yeah, it's contentious. Dogs and cats.
Yeah, but I didn't break my leg, so that's good. Now, Maggie, I understand you had an eventful week. Sort of eventful.
Did. Yeah.
Almost really eventful.
Almost really eventful, but it ended up being good. So found out like a couple days ago, it's like Thursday before the weekend, that my mom said she would have our son, our 3.5-year-old, to sleep over at her house just like for a fun sleepover. So all of a sudden my husband and I are like, wow, free night, free Saturday night.
Awesome. Never
happens, right? So my husband's like, hey, I went ahead and I booked us a couples massage.
Oh,
which I was like, that's hilarious because we're in the same room, but we're not talking or anything. I don't understand the couples massage.
I think this is a romantic gesture, and I like it.
Super nice, right? Super nice gesture. I've been on red-eye flights the last month, knows that like...
Been dealing with me and lost jerseys.
It's just been hectic. So book the couples massage for like Saturday at like 5. And I told him like, man, we just found out that we were going to have a free night. How are you able to get an appointment on such short notice? He's like, well, I found this place, but I don't really know if it's how good it is or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, what? We pull up finally. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This was the shadiest looking massage joint in a strip mall. I was like, what are we doing here? I'm like, this is going to be terrible. Like, this isn't like it didn't look like all that legit is what I'm saying.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So
I can picture it in my mind's eye.
What happened?
Which maybe as an individual massage you might consider, but a couple's massage, we're getting into a weird area here.
It was like a place where you can't even see through the windows because there's so much stuff. It's like it's like right in between a pizza place and like a Verizon store. Just nothing about this screamed.
I mean, get a slice right before or after,
and like a new phone, which I might need, to call 911. I have no idea. Anyway, so it was just like kind of whatever. It was looking a little sketchy. I'm like, man, why did you have to do this? Like, I know it was a nice gesture, but okay. So we go in there, and it was like no frills. Okay, but that's okay. I kind of knew that. When I tell you, it was the best massage I've ever had in my life.
What?
It was incredible. And the weird thing is, my husband, worst massage he's ever had in his life.
Oh, no.
But he's like, I'm happy that you got the good person, and I just got... Honestly, if you close, well, I did have my eyes closed. It was as if I was in a place where it was like the bougiest thing ever,
I didn't even know
Manhattan.
When you introduced the story, I didn't even know you went in and got the massage.
Went through with it. So happy I did. I got the chick's name. Like, I'm going to be going back just specifically for this woman. She was incredible.
So you found a full-time masseuse out of this experience.
Now look at me. You guys notice my shoulders? They're down like 3 inches.
Notice
I look younger. Like, everything's coming up, Maggie.
You awfully relaxed.
I said to my husband, I'm like, this has turned out to be the best thing you ever did.
And he had what was bad about his massage?
Apparently, it was Swedish,
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I didn't mind it, but because my woman was awesome. She was just like, I can't even describe it.
Swedish is in, they really beat you up.
No, Swedish is like, like not deep tissue.
Oh, I thought that did mean deep tissue.
No, it doesn't mean deep tissue, but it's like the perfect amount of pressure. And his was just not, like, she just didn't do a good job. Like, she just didn't care. And the woman who did my massage, it was like I was leaving a Yelp review or something.
I thought this story was going in a completely different direction.
Best massage I ever had. It was incredible. It was, I couldn't have asked for better.
Did you get said slice afterwards, too? I know you love
Yes.
pizza.
And then just house pizza just to feel nice and healthy.
That's a good day.
It was great. Thanks, honey. Love you. 855-2124-CBS. Okay, we've got Dallas Cowboys news for you in just a moment.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
If you go into a normal porta potty, you have about a 1 in 3 chance of it getting turned over and ending up on Instagram.
Everyone's never said that.
That's my nightmare.
All of a sudden, it's like, how did Samter get the bubonic plague? Like, I don't know. It hasn't been around since the Middle Ages.
We could have a debate about what's worse, but there's nothing worse. The thought of being in a porta potty that turns over.
No, my worst fear is dropping the phone. Just
that's gone.
Sacrifice it. Let it go. It's gone.
No, that is long gone.
And I have the kind of thing where I have my credit cards and stuff like on the back of the phone, and my whole life would be gone. I'm not going in.
What if it was a wedding ring?
Ugh. No, you got to go in for the ring.
No.
I have to.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
So glad to have you on this Monday. Maggie and Perloff, bands back together. Perloff back from the slopes. We found out quite a harrowing experience. Yeah. Almost got taken out by a T-bar, but you lived to tell the tale.
I did, although I have to be honest, I did not come away a huge fan of skiing, as always. I skied for about an hour on a mountain that is probably 200 feet tall. It was not the Alps. I sweated through my clothes. I was sore for about 3 days.
Yeah.
I just don't know, Maggie. Some people are not cut out for certain sports.
You know, I think you should probably just keep it with the pickup basketball because we know you're a pro there. So glad to have you again on Maggie and Perloff. We're across the country, CBS Sports Radio, our incredible affiliates. We're also streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Okay, I'm going to read you a quote from Stephen Jones from the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry's son. And you tell me what you take away from this. Okay. Now, this was Stephen Jones speaking at the NFL Scouting Combine, which starts today in Indianapolis. He was asked if he believes that Dak Prescott can take the franchise to its first Super Bowl since 1995. And here's what he said. Why do I think so? Because we know him. We know what he's about. His leadership skills are undeniable, impeccable work ethic. Other than he hadn't won some key playoff games, he's everything you want in a quarterback. What does that signal to you?
Oh, okay. I think you're implying that's the old, as I would say, you got to meet her. She has a nice personality.
You think? He said, I've got all the faith in the world we can win this thing with Dak. Do you, though? Because you just brought out the fact that they lost some key playoff games, and that's the point. You're only going to win the Super Bowl if you start winning some of those key playoff games.
You know, the thing that protects Dak Prescott.
What's that?
Is that there's really never been a playoffs where they were so close and Dak blew it. They've been smart enough to blow it early in the playoffs, and therefore, I don't think we think of Dak as a gigantic playoff choker. I don't think of him that way.
After the loss to San Francisco last year, I think that people started to question.
Yes, but it's not like he had high profile. He lost early. Okay, so how many playoff games has he lost? What's his record?
It's 2-4, I believe now.
Right. So
I don't want to shortchange him. Hold on. Go ahead. Keep making
this year, he lost 19-12 to the Niners. Come on. That was an impossible situation. The Niners defense was better than that Dallas offense in every way. I don't blame Dak for that. And the year before, Dak led them in an incredible comeback to get back into that game against an even better Niners team. He's losing to the same team that Aaron Rodgers is losing to. I just don't put that on Dak.
Okay,
so
well,
I don't think those key losses are on Dak specifically.
Okay, well, one team in the 49ers is not paying their quarterback $40 million, and the other team is. So at some point, aren't you going to you're going to encounter some really tough defenses. Yeah. That's the whole thing about the playoffs. The teams get better as you keep moving forward. And so if he's not, besides that he's lost some of these key games, he's a great quarterback. What kind of a compliment is that? His job is to win. And you can't just say, oh, the offense was great and the defense totally let them down. Like, he doesn't get that benefit of the doubt.
Well, I mean, he's won at a high level. He just hasn't won the Super Bowl. They've won 12 games.
Been to an NFC championship game.
At least they've won 12 games 2 years in a row. That's pretty unbelievable.
Regular season, and especially when you compete in the NFC East.
That's better than paying Derek Carr $40 million to go 7 and 10. Sorry, Stu.
Yeah.
I think at least they're winning games. It's not a complete disaster. If it was up to you, you only want to pay people for winning Super Bowls. You got to pay guys even if you haven't won the Super Bowl yet. It's just the way the NFL is.
I'm sorry, but did I say that Dak was a $40 million quarterback? I must have not had my contacts in. Prescott is set to count $49 million against the salary cap in 2023. He's signed through 2024, so now you're looking at a $50 million player.
Well, he's really $40 million a year, the life of his contract.
Okay, but now they're going to ultimately, and Stephen Jones said this and confirmed it, they do have a plan to extend Dak Prescott. Yeah. So you're going to have to do that for cap purposes, but I don't think that they are beyond drafting a quarterback. And in fact, I think your Philadelphia Eagles and the fact that Jalen Hurts, I know great quarterbacks, you don't generally find them in the second round, but I think every team is now going to be looking for the guy who's not the first rounder, but not quite the third or fourth rounder who can really come in and try to learn from Dak and then be the heir apparent as soon as they can get out of that contract.
So how many, just off the top of your head, list 5 non-first round quarterbacks that are really impressive to you?
Well,
they're
Russell
all
Wilson.
First round. Right, yeah.
Dak.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom, can I
Brock
still use
Purdy.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, usually.
Technically, Geno Smith was a second rounder. He's had a nice career after many years in the desert.
You said Geno Smith has had a nice career?
Derek Carr was not a first round quarterback.
Oh, yeah, really, these guys are smoking right now. I think a lot of teams would want Dak Prescott.
Yes, they would, but it's still a very large, it's a big number. You know, it's a big number with 8 years into this experiment that you're like, or not experiment, but 8 years into his tenure. Do you actually trust him to win a big game? I mean, it can't be one of those things, too, where it's like everything's got to be perfect around him. No kidding. And it's never perfect around any player when you get to the playoffs because you're going to deal with injuries and it's going to be harder.
What about his 4-touchdown game against Tampa Bay? That was a work of art.
It was excellent. It was a great game. Does it look more like that's the standard or was that the outlier?
Listen, it's much more complicated than that, and you know it. That is not all on Dak. You can't possibly look at that team.
Not all on Dak, but you have 2 times where he's gone up against a really good defense and couldn't get them over the hump.
Yes, the same defense, unbelievable defense. The same defense that completely shut down Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not going to kill him for that. Honestly, first of all, 2 years ago, that's when Nick Bosa and those guys were getting after it. And they almost beat the Rams, too. That defense really gave Stafford a hard time as well. They're an outstanding defense.
I ask you this. How much better are things realistically going to get? Because the Cowboys have a top 6 offensive line. Now, they need more offensive weapons. Okay, we'll agree there. Of course, the whole world knows they need a wide receiver, another one. But they have a highly rated offensive line. And they did, according to Pro Football Focus. I mean, I don't know how else to grade them.
Did they have a bunch of starting lineups this year?
Well, I mean, most famously, they obviously lost their left tackle for most of the year.
Yeah, who's about 100 years old. They signed Jason Peters, who's at 150 years old.
They were using him pretty sparingly, though.
Yeah, but they definitely were, by the end of the season, they were turning around a lot of players.
But Tyler Smith ended up being a revelation. So that he's a good, listen, I can only tell you that they were rated the 6th best offensive line in the league.
But they definitely were switching around personnel a lot this year because of injuries. I know at the end of the year that they had all different kind of combinations. But that's my point is that team around him, take Dak off that team. I know Cooper Rush won some games. I just don't think they're nearly as good a team.
855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. I think the Stephen Jones comments were a little bit like she's got a good person.
I hear you. But I think that he did basically commit to him, didn't he?
Yeah, you got to start looking for the heir apparent here. That's what the train that I would put on the tracks. You know, it might not be a first round pick because the Cowboys don't pick until, in the 20s. So I don't know who you're going to have there, but start thinking about if somebody does intrigue you. I'm not saying sell the farm to try to move up to get, Will Levis, but if somebody does start to intrigue you, I might start taking a flyer on some quarterbacks.
If Will Levis could outplay Dak Prescott, I would be very surprised. I hear you. No. That's my point. I think Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. I think Sanford's Jets would be thrilled to have a Dak Prescott. I think the Giants would be thrilled to have a Dak Prescott. He's a good quarterback. Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. But, he did throw 37 touchdowns and 10 picks in a season. That's elite. And last year, he had a lot of picks, but they still had this incredible offense. Their offense, when Dak was in there, I think it was number one in them in Miami were 1 and 2, according to all the metrics. I want Dak if I'm a team. I think Dak's a really good quarterback.
I just think regular season versus playoffs, we all know the difference. Right?
Do you think he was the reason they lost that game to the Niners this year?
It would have been nice to have some weapons, but some more weapons for him, no doubt. But it wasn't a great game.
No, it wasn't a great game. But honestly, do you look at that Niners? Do you think Hurts did anything against that Niners defense? Nothing.
23 for 37, 62% of his passes. He threw for 206 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 picks.
What did Jalen Hurts do against that team? He was 15 for 25, 121 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Well, how much did he rush for?
He rushed for 39 yards, I think. They basically, 39 yards.
Okay, also different because Brock Purdy had left the game and then re-entered and couldn't throw the ball.
They didn't have to do anything, and thank God, because that defense was a brick wall this year. It was a really, really difficult assignment. And Dak Prescott in that game against the Niners was under a lot of pressure. He had a terrible read, but there became a point of the game where he didn't trust anyone except CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
So everyone on earth knew he was throwing to CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, it was not ideal. But let's see next year. I'm rooting for Dak. I think Dak is unfairly criticized because he wears that star on his helmet. I think the expectations around that team, there's a lot of highly paid quarterbacks. Derek Carr didn't get this kind of hate.
Oh, I don't know. We criticize Derek Carr. We criticize Kirk Cousins. We criticize guys who get paid a lot of money who aren't winners.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler, for sure. We criticized the hell out of that. And that had a homework clause. That was even worse.
You don't really criticize a quarterback whose team went 12-5. Do people rip Josh Allen for his money?
They might start because his big cap hit hits this year. So if they lose a bunch of guys in free agency, like Tremaine Edmonds and other guys, and they don't replace them, you might start hearing it.
But you don't.
Well, not yet. At least he went to an AFC Championship game. And it's only the AFC Championship game. It's not even the Super Bowl.
He did not play well against the Bengals.
Not at all. And people called him out for it.
I can make an excuse for any quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy to call out Josh Allen for what happened this year. It was pure chaos in that Buffalo building by the end of the season.
No kidding.
You can't judge these guys. Basically, it's a team sport. I'm sorry. The quarterback gets way too much credit when they win and way too much blame when they lose.
Barbara Carroll's figured this all out.
Please.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. Said McLovin just wants Dak extended for more years because it's good for the Eagles.
No, Dak.
Thank you, Barbara. You see through this.
There is no player in the NFL who owns the Eagles like Dak Prescott. Dak has the Eagles in his side pocket. He cannot. He gets out on that field, and we'll see now that the defense coordinator's gone. Dak Prescott basically looks like Patrick Mahomes combined with Josh Allen every time he plays the Eagles.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Got some more NFL news for you. This one, not great. We'll get to it in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff, where across the country on CBS Sports Radio, we are streaming on the free Odyssey app. If you're somebody who listens to us in the car, and if your station kind of goes in and out, free Odyssey app, it's crystal clear once you plug into the app with your aux cable. Of course, Sirius XM channel 158. And again, streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. You will see Perloff got some new memorabilia for the studio. It's an oversized Sports Illustrated cover of Carson Wentz. Happier days. Then we also realized that Perloff, who was entrusted with Phil from Pennsylvania's Randall Cunningham jersey, now appears to have misplaced the jersey.
Temporarily.
Well, it's been a week. I'm sorry. It's been 3 weeks since the Super Bowl.
We don't know where it is right now. Right this very second.
That's the problem.
That's the definition of lost.
Yes. It is temporarily lost.
It's temporarily mislocated.
We'll find out if it's permanently lost soon enough. If it does not show up.
Did you misremember where you placed it?
No idea.
Is there anyone who's at your house right now that you could text to be like, hey, can you look around? It's green.
Yeah, my 10-year-old daughter is at home. Hey, honey, could you go up in the dryer, see if the Randall jerseys are there? She'll just hang up on me.
Check all the normal places under the bed.
Yeah,
no?
She does not know who Randall Cunningham is, and she does not care.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Again, got another NFL story for you. This one, not so good. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff right after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Ted in California. Maggie, you mentioned a movie with a big plot twist. What is your favorite movie plot twist of all time? Don't forget, you could submit a question by going to cbssportsradio.com/askthepros or tweeting it at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag Ask the Pros.
Oh, man.
What was the name of the movie you suggested on Netflix?
It was like #1 on Netflix. It's called The Strays, and it was a thriller that I think two good things make a good thriller movie.
Okay.
Great plot twist. Got to have a good twist, and then a good ending. And this had both. I'm not going to give anything away. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. It looks scary. I watched the trailer.
Yeah. It's not gory, though. That I don't like gore or horror movies. This was just a psychological thriller.
Here's a question, though. Is saying there's a good twist
a spoiler?
A spoiler in and of itself.
Well, you don't know when it's coming or what's going on.
Sure, but knowing that there is a twist coming, you're not as surprised when you do see said twist, whatever that twist may or may not be.
All right, sorry.
I know some people
I don't know. I'm asking the question because I don't know if that is considered a spoiler.
Actually, it's my wife. My wife gets so mad if I say anything about a movie. Anything.
Yeah.
Like it's good or it's bad. Don't spoil. I just said it was a good movie. That's not spoiling. And you're right. Technically, I know people would get mad at you saying that.
Just saying that was a twist? Okay.
A spoiler. I mean, you watch a commercial on TV, isn't that a spoiler? Trailers give away the whole house
but the trailer bends it and turns all the Marvel movies. They put the beginning at the end and the end at the beginning. You're like, I don't know what's happening here.
I saw the Ant-Man movie in the theater, and they used the one good line in the commercial this weekend because obviously no one's going to it because it stinks.
It is terrible.
Did you see it yet?
Oh, yeah. I saw opening night. I see every Marvel movie.
What are they doing? What are they doing
dedication
here?
to these movies is
Talking about a movie that did not have a twist, you could see every move in this movie coming from 50 miles away.
My wife keeps saying to me, she's like, there's the third Marvel movie in a row you said sucked. Why do you keep going? And I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah, they've lost their mojo.
You got a child now. You got to start taking more. And, well, I guess that doesn't matter because Perloff keeps seeing them and you've got two kids.
Well, my kids are a little older now, so that helps. I'm getting more movies. And The Strays looked a lot like an M. Night Shyamalan movie to me. It reminded me, the trailer did of one of those. And
that's probably one of the best twists ever.
Yes, Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
But he's done twists in every movie since then, and none of them have been nearly as good.
I haven't watched any other of his movies.
You've never seen The Village?
Nope.
That's pretty good. And spoiler, it has a huge twist.
Well, didn't it come out 20 years ago?
Well, one was Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, I think, was 25 years ago.
Okay, his second movie was The Village. Huge twist, which is pretty cool. But after that, twist for twist's sakes. What's the one that's out now, Knock on the Cabin Door?
Yeah, that's got to have a twist, right?
Isn't the whole premise a twist?
Yeah, I know. Dave Bautista's in every movie now. Just pencil him in.
And he started out in the Marvel universe.
So Michael in the chat saying, best plot twist ever, Usual Suspects. Totally agree.
Well,
Excellent
I think Sixth Sense and Usual Suspects are kind of the same because they came out right around the same time, and they were both amazingly awesome. And we're like, wow, movies are getting great plot twists now. And then it never happened again. Fight Club has a good plot twist.
Fight Club also has a great plot twist.
Same year as all those other movies.
Gone Girl?
Oh, which one is that?
Based on the book with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
That's a good plot twist, I think.
But that plot twist made me angry.
The plot twist that they end up staying together, is that...
No, the plot twist is that, well, you originally find out that she was faking her own death. The way they set it up, can I be snobby? The way they set it up in the book was so much better than the movie.
Oh, God.
Get Out. Good plot twist in Get Out.
What was the plot twisting? The whole movie was twisty, as I recall. Was there one thing at the end?
Well, the twist is that, remember, Allison Williams is like in on it. Remember, he's like, get the keys. And then all of a sudden she's like, sorry.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I know.
How about a TV show? Squid Games had a good twist. Season 1.
What was the twist in that?
I'm not going to say it in case anyone hasn't watched it.
What was the twist?
Don't you consider that a twist? What happened at the end of Squid Games?
Where? Wait.
Like the very last scene?
Oh, the last scene? Wait, can we
or
just
you mean
say it?
like the reveal?
The reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
You guys
I guess
all
it's
saw
kind
that
of a
coming?
twist or a little bit of a reveal with who you find out is behind the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I guess I don't even remember.
I mean, do you consider Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, is that a plot twist?
Yeah, Luke, I'm your father.
I mean, that's like a shocking moment, but is that a plot twist? I guess. Plot twist, I feel like, has to be at the end of the movie, like that kind of like throws the entire movie on its head.
No, plot twists don't have to be at the end. They can also be like 3/4 of the way through, halfway through.
Can you have a plot twist in like a franchise like that?
It's got to be Act 3. I think it has to be Act 3 of the movie.
But can it be Act 3 of movie 2?
Luke, I'm your father. That's almost grandfathered in as the ultimate plot twist.
Yeah.
I think you got it.
How about Saw? Saw had a pretty decent plot. The first Saw.
You think I saw? You're crazy.
I don't even want to hear about it. My boss ruined my entire weekend by telling me the plot of this horror movie that Maggie had to walk out on the plot description. She couldn't even read the Wikipedia plot
No, they started talking about it. I was like, I'm out of here. No, thank you. 855-212-4CBS, yes.
Another random plot twist. I don't know if you've seen this. Primal Fear.
Well, that's a big one, too.
That's a great one.
That's a famous one. That's probably a little before your time,
yes,
Maggie.
Richard
Harrison
Gere
Ford.
and Ed Norton Jr.
Oh, no, Primal Fear. Oh, what's the one where Harrison Ford's wife did it?
Oh, no. Oh,
Presumed
the
innocent.
perfect murder or something?
Presumed innocent, I think.
There you go. No, Primal Fear is great. Richard Gere is a defense lawyer, and Ed Norton Jr. is like a choir boy who's accused of killing the priest or whatever. It is an incredible, incredible plot twist.
I definitely have heard of Primal Fear, but I haven't seen it yet. That's like when Ed Norton was really on his way up.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
and then
like
he did the Hulk, and then it just ruined everything.
It sounds like such a 90s thing. Like, Richard Gere is a defense lawyer. I'm like, yep, that was the 90s.
And you can close your eyes, you can envision the suit that he's wearing.
Yes, definitely.
There's a comedy sketch group called Kids in the Hall. They did a skit where the devil gets on screen and ruins every movie. He said, yeah, it's Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis was a ghost. And then they said, and presumed innocent, it was the wife, which was an old movie. Anyway, yeah. That's something the devil would do, is come out and ruin movies for everybody.
We're getting some in the chat. Oh, Trey McDonald is The Prestige. That was a good one.
Oh, is that Hugh Jackman?
Yep. That was a good plot twist. People are saying The Departed. What was the plot twist in The Departed?
Oh, that I think it was a plot twist that Matt Damon was the... No, I don't know what the...
DiCaprio and Mark Wahlberg were...
Or that Damon was working for the mobster?
That was pretty clear in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't remember the plot twist there, but a couple people have put it in, so I'm assuming it was.
I mean, the scene with Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon in the room together at the very end was pretty fantastic.
Before he kills him.
Yeah. Well, like as he does it.
We're getting some more.
How about Psycho? Is that too old? The Fugitive.
Fugitive. That was spoiled in 1958 when the TV show came out.
All right, well, let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Robert is in Salt Lake, not with a movie with a plot twist, but a question about Dak Prescott. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Hey, how was the NBA All-Star game?
It was crazy.
Could you notice things going on around town?
Yeah, I mean, you always see the influx when anything big like that happens, but it wasn't nearly the magnitude of like when the Olympics was in town.
Got it. Okay, cool. What's your thought on Dak Prescott?
Well, as a longtime Cowboys fan, I guess a lifelong Cowboys fan, everybody expects the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl, right? And so that's when you are going to put these pressures on these quarterbacks, especially when they're not performing. So this year, Dak Prescott doesn't perform as a Super Bowl quarterback, right? He's 13th for touchdowns. He's 33rd for interceptions. His QBR rating is 57.9, which makes him 12th in the league. And he's continually trended down over the past 7 years that he's been our quarterback. So, it's frustrating as a Cowboys fan because you're watching him and you're seeing that under the helm of Dak Prescott, he only has a 66.6% win rating.
But that seems pretty good.
We're frustrated about it.
Wait, by the way, didn't he have a career year 2 years ago? How could he be trending down every year, stats-wise?
It's funny.
Well, but why is that a career year, right? 5 years in, that's your career year?
It's a pretty good year.
Kind of frustrating, right?
To me, Robert, I appreciate the phone call. I don't know if it's about, is he trending down? I don't know if I can say that. It's just when the defenses get better in the postseason, he hasn't been able to raise his level. Like, Tampa did not have a good defense. We knew that, right? And so he put in an incredible game. But when you're facing these good defenses,
what defenses has he faltered against? San Francisco. Guess what other quarterback faltered against that defense? Every quarterback who's faced them. So he must have had a couple other losses, but
he lost to the Rams.
You can't judge him on these Niners games. When did he lose to the Rams?
2019.
I don't remember that.
2018 season. Lost to Green Bay.
Oh, 2018. The Rams made the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this Niners.
The first time.
I think this Niners team is a bit of an anomaly. I think it's hard to really judge a quarterback based on that. But 7 years downward, that doesn't feel right.
No, I mean, especially because the teams had a better record the last 2 years than any time except his rookie year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think that caller said something interesting. There is this expectation that the Cowboys will make the Super Bowl. They have a lot of pressure. There's a little extra pressure. You have to admit. People talk about them all the time. The expectations get awfully high. If he was in Jacksonville and putting up these numbers, I think we'd look at him more positively.
See, I don't think it's about the Dallas thing. I think it's about the contract. I think when you look and see how highly he's paid, you're expecting that to correlate. Now, listen, we might get salaries that blow this out of the water this offseason. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's looking for a new fully guaranteed deal, let alone what Deshaun Watson got. You're going to have Burrow is eligible. Herbert is eligible. Tua is eligible. I don't think he's going to get it because of the concussions, but you have guys who are going to dwarf what Dak Prescott is making.
I mean, Daniel Jones is going to make the same thing at Dak Prescott. I don't think his contract's so crazy that it's kind of your average quarterback contract now. It's never been
with a
so high.
$50 million cap hit, that's not your average.
What's he going to be in his yearly average? He'll probably be, 12th, 13th in the league this year?
No. He's still top 10.
When this offseason's over, tell
after
me where
this offseason is over, and I'm not so sure. I'm not sure because I have a feeling that Cincinnati's not going to mess around and that LA is not going to mess around with her.
I think there's going to be a couple big signings.
And I think Lamar's going to get his money.
Somewhere.
Probably Samter's Jets. I don't know. Could be anyone. 855. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the Ravens. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. Coming up, speaking of a plot twist, something we never saw coming, this of the sports variety. We'll get to that in just a moment after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
All right, the Colts before them, the Commanders are parting ways with Carson Wentz after one season, releasing the former second pick overall to avoid a $26 million cap hit. Wentz played only 8 games last year for Washington and started 7. The Bears have options with the number 1 pick and are intent on maximizing its value. According to reports, they've been approached by multiple teams about a deal and are leaning toward trading it. The Bears seem set at quarterback with Justin Fields, and several teams would be interested in moving up to draft what they hope will be a franchise player at the position. The Bucs have a new arena and a championship since Mark Lassery took over the team. The Bucs co-owner now getting out 10 years after purchasing the team with Wes Edens. He has reportedly a deal in place to sell to Browns owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam for $3.5 billion. The Bucs had the night off after extending their winning streak to 14 over the weekend. The Celtics hanging on to the top spot in the East by a half game over Milwaukee. They'll face the Knicks, who have won 5 in a row. The Sixers, after falling to Boston in the final second Saturday, host the Heat, who have dropped 4 in a row. Houston remains the number 1 team in the nation in the latest AP poll, followed by Alabama, Kansas, UCLA, and Purdue as the top 5 remains unchanged. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is Zach Gelb. Catch me at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific to talk sports right here on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you. CBS Sports Radio. We're all across the country. We're streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. You can get in the chat with the Weedos and the Purple Drankers. It's time for the Casamigos Shot of the Day.
He shoots!
The Shot of the Day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Well, today we found out that when it comes to holding someone else's belongings, Perloff, not all that responsible.
I don't know. I need some legal stuff in
You have the
here.
Randall Cunningham, but we have to get it signed.
Where? Oh, no.
What?
What did I do with that?
Perloff, no. No.
Move on.
Wait a minute.
Move on.
Can't move on. Where's the jersey?
I don't know.
No.
Phil, you trusted us. You screwed up.
Oh, no, Phil.
Since Perloff didn't break his legs skiing, I might have to do the honors myself.
Phil in Pennsylvania, rightfully upset that he loaned Perloff his Randall Cunningham jersey. You wore it to the NFC Championship game. Success. You take it to the Super Bowl, and now, poof, it's gone.
So it's gone right now. How long do I have to find
You
this?
keep saying that.
When is it officially lost?
Tonight.
Tonight?
It's officially lost when you make it an attempt to look for it and cannot. Like you haven't. It seems like you haven't really looked for it. You kind of forgot that you even had it.
Do you think Phil will take this as an answer? It's got to show up sometime.
It's somewhere.
It'll show
The universe will bring it back to us in due time.
It could have been on a Delta flight to Abu Dhabi. We have no idea.
Well, there was a lot going on that Super Bowl weekend. That day of Sunday, there was so much going on. Not only was I covering it as a journalist.
Yeah.
I was
Capital J.
Yeah. I knew half the stadium. We're all from Philly. We were all partying all day long. It was crazy. It was 24-14 at half. I'd already made plans to come down to Philly for the parade. It was pure chaos. Then the officials and the turf and everything went wrong. So I don't know. There was so much going on. I'm sorry. Phil's jersey was not top of mind.
You blame the turf for everything. You blame the turf for their loss. You blame the turf for you losing the jersey. You can't blame the turf for everything.
Well, listen. I mean, the halftime show was a big distraction. I don't want to blame Rihanna directly,
Yeah.
but
Was she
didn't
pregnant?
help.
She's pregnant. All right, everyone.
Yeah,
we know
yeah,
she's
yeah.
pregnant. It really threw everyone.
And if she's pregnant, is it safe to go up that high on that hydraulic lift?
Well, it seems like she made it down okay.
Yeah.
Laura's asking, did Perloff actually break his leg? No, thankfully not. He just got hit in the head with a T-bar.
Which, by the way, is probably more dangerous.
Might be worse.
Yeah, it was not good. It's on the embarrassment scale, because the other thing, my skis flew everywhere.
Of course.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'd say it was an 8 out of 10 on the embarrassment scale, because a big fall on a slope is not funny. It's kind of scary.
And then you got to climb back up to get your skis and poles.
Oh,
it's
that's
the worst.
Yeah. But to actually see somebody get hit by a metal bar, pretty funny.
Just go down in a heap. Well, speaking of embarrassing, I think this is embarrassing from Jason Kidd. So obviously the Lakers erased a 27-point deficit yesterday, beat the Dallas Mavericks, but as the Mavericks coach, Jason Kidd was on the wrong side of this. So I didn't realize, Perloff, NBA teams were 138-0 after leading by that much until the Mavs blew a 27-point lead. They lost 111-108. Now, Jason Kidd was asked about it afterwards, and he said, quote, "I'm not the savior here. I'm not playing." And Kidd was asked why he used only one timeout in the second and third quarters as the lead was slipping away. He said, "I'm watching just like you guys." Wait, what? You said this
You're the
into
coach.
a microphone? What?
Maybe it's that great player turned coach problem where Jason Kidd watches him and said, you know what, there's no way, if I was playing point guard, there's no way I would let that lead go.
Right.
And he's so disgusted he can't even engage with these guys.
Right, because he can't imagine someone who is as good as Jason Kidd would never allow this to happen.
And that's what he meant was, I can't do anything, meaning I'm not out there. But that's, I think, one of the reasons that great players don't always make great coaches.
Well, also, like, your job description now is to try to help them in any way you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't suit up and play. Call timeouts, start working the refs, bench somebody.
Yes.
Do something.
Create a distraction. You're right. Yell at the ref. Get the focus on you. Get your team fired up. Do something.
Wait a minute. Now I'm remembering something. You said create a distraction. Jason Kidd got clowned famously when he was the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets because he had a teammate or someone on the team run into him like on purpose and spilled a glass of ice water onto the court just so that someone would have to come and clean it up to create a diversion. Do you remember this, Stu?
I do. That was an all-time great moment. That was amazing.
He's like, run into me. And then he like, oops. And it was like...
You can see him mouth the words, run into me.
Yeah.
So
he's done this before.
Yeah,
Do the ice thing again.
I mean, okay. Bottom line, I think coaching Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic right now is one of the tougher assignments in basketball.
Fair.
How do you tell Kyrie? What do you tell Kyrie?
Defense? It's not going to happen.
Play defense and share the ball. I don't know if those words are really going to hit home with Kyrie Irving.
No, I don't think.
I mean, I think he can be a really good team player, but I think it's really hard to get this team to gel. And I sense frustration on Jason Kidd's part.
Well, I mean, I think they're 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3 since Kyrie.
Kyrie and Luka are playing together.
And also, Kyrie has gotten something like 80% more shots in the fourth quarter than Luka because Luka's deferring to him.
That's not going to go over well.
No, I think this is frustration and a little bit of the great player. Lawrence Frank, remember him?
He's the basically the GM of the Clippers.
Right. He never played at the college level, barely played at the high school level. He knew he couldn't do anything as a player.
Yeah.
So he was never frustrated. I think that's what these great players just can't watch these guys stink it up and don't know what to do.
I know, but it's like stink it up. I mean, it is Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
This is like two of the better players in the league, especially Luka's like a top 5 right now.
Yeah, but I agree with you. This is not a great answer by Jason Kidd.
No, I'm watching just like the rest of you. It's like, no. You're not. I can't call a timeout from the couch. I can't get in somebody's face. Like, that's your responsibility.
How much do you think he makes a year?
As a coach?
Yeah.
Are those salaries public?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, but it's got to be $8 million, $9 million a year. To do what then?
How much are NBA coaches making?
Oh, and is that more than it makes? I have no idea.
I don't know what the average NBA coach is making. I'm sure it's like varies wildly. Speaking of which, Greg Popovich has got to be one of the highest paid coaches now in the league, I would imagine.
Hall of Famer.
Spurs have lost 16 straight. Okay.
You win some, you lose some.
Oh, this is losing a lot of them. I mean, at this point, if you don't get Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson and you did all this tanking because they flattened the lottery odds, that looks like an all-time backfire.
Wait, are they tanking or are they just bad? There's a difference.
Well, I mean, that's not good for Greg Popovich if they're just bad. What got anything on salaries?
So this is the closest I came so far on a quick search. Sportico in 2022 published a list. Popovich making 11.5, Kerr 9.5, Doc and Spoelstra 8.5, Budenholzer, Nurse, and Nash were making 8.
Okay. I mean, yeah, enough to like call a timeout.
Yeah.
Do something. Do anything. Okay, got a baseball story for you. You want it?
Yeah, I was just looking at the stats on the Spurs.
Oh.
There's no surprise this team is bad. They have no players. But anyway,
no, they're
please.
terrible. Yeah. But the problem is that I think they're trying to do the same thing that got them Tim Duncan when David Robinson famously got injured, and they just were like, well, let's be really bad. We'll get the first pick in the draft. But it's not the same rules as it was back in that day.
But this will be their 4th straight losing season.
Also not great.
Not great.
He's like known as one of the best coaches ever.
But we barely paid attention to the Spurs when they were winning the titles. We're certainly not going to pay attention to them now. All right, what's the baseball story?
Good point. So this one's getting a lot of attention. A couple of things here from Joey Votto from the Reds. So MLB today asked, drop your boldest NL Central prediction on Instagram. Joey Votto responded, extraterrestrials arrive on Earth April 15th. The 12-2 Reds and the rest of the planet learn from, communicate with, and befriend our alien friends. This process takes 5 months. Play resumes in October. The Reds sweep the playoffs and are World Series champs. Side note, the aliens ask if I would like to accompany them on their ship back to their planet. I oblige, never to be seen again. Cool story. The other thing...
By the way, I'm sorry. I think Joey Votto is generally one of the funnier players. This seems like a little bit of effort.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's a try-hard Instagram post. I'm sorry.
I got another die-hard, try-hard for you. He was profiled in The Athletic, I believe. He said, my routine every day is to compete, then go home, play chess, and listen to old Norm Macdonald and old David Letterman, have a sleeve of saltines, and then go to sleep. You're right. This sounds he sounds annoying, huh?
I do like the old Norm Macdonald, and the chess thing is a big thing among athletes. I don't know. I thought he was like really cool. Remember he had the personality disorder. He was shy, and then he turned out he was really funny. Now I don't know. Maybe
you're right. I think this is gym class try hard, like gym class die hard.
Yeah.
Why are you trying so hard?
He's trying to. Remember, John Kruk was really funny as a player and he's trying to get into that lane. I don't think he needs to be there.
Oh, you think he's trying to set up for his broadcasting career?
As sort of the funny guy on ESPN, and he's great, by the way. His analysis he's amazing. He will be a great broadcaster. This I'd be careful. I don't get it. The specifics of the Reds being 12-2.
All right. Full disclosure, Samter was like, this is awesome. Your taste sucks. It's been confirmed.
No, did you like the joke, Mike?
I like the alien one. The other one about sitting at home, I was not as into that one.
But you were into the alien thing?
But I don't even get it. Explain the alien one.
It's just ridiculous. Like, he goes into so much detail. And then the fact that we resumed the World Series after the aliens come and then he goes, I don't know. It's just random out of nowhere on a Monday morning. You're just not expecting an alien invasion to overtake baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, today everyone's talking about rules changes and pitch clock, and
Honestly,
Joey Votto's talking about alien invasions.
Let's keep the conversation on the pitch clock. It's the best thing that Major League Baseball has done in years.
But they haven't really done it yet. We haven't actually seen it in a regular season game.
Well, no.
Can you say
we saw Manny Machado get a strike. He's getting $350 million in an extension. He got 0-1 pitch on a pitch clock.
Took too long.
Yeah, I think this could be real chaos, which is good. Is that what you love about it? I think the unpredictability of it is what I love.
No, I love the fact that I can actually. Is it possible I'm going to be able to watch a full baseball game in like an hour and 40 minutes or 2 hours and 40 minutes?
Well, let's not be ridiculous. Has anyone ever watched a full baseball game? But
like, this would be incredible. As somebody who watches a lot of baseball games, I would love it if it just, let's hurry this thing up a little bit. No shift.
I like the controversy aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, say it's a game. Say the White Sox are playing the Mariners, and you have no vested interest. You didn't bet on the game.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like some controversial ending with the pitch clock where no one quite knows what to do, like the NFL? That's what the MLB needs. They need pure rules, chaos at the end of a game. I think it's
like
going to be great.
Like the Chiefs game was it the Chiefs game where they ended up replaying the down?
Yeah.
Against the Bengals, right? Or before the Patrick Mahomes got pushed out of bounds. Remember, they had to replay the down because it was a clock issue?
Exactly. That's one of the great things about the NFL. We talk about it 24/7, and still no one knows the rules. Remember when I think it was a Chiefs player lined up a foot off the line, and the official didn't tell him, and he's like, "You're okay," and then he called it anyway.
Oh, who was that?
I think it was Kadarius Toney. No. Juju. It was Juju.
It might have been Juju.
And everyone's like, "What's the rule?" I think
he's like, "I just checked with you."
Rule ambiguity adds to interest in sports, and I think baseball's got a good one here because I think this is going to be really nuts. Do you think they'll just get used to it, and we'll all get used to it?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to cause a lot of balks and walks and unintentional balls.
Well, if it causes more walks, then that's probably not awesome. But it might, because also you're asking pitchers to work really hard, you might not be able to catch catch your breath. I know they're not doing cardio up there, but they're loading up so much on these pitches. Like, you need to
more. So basically, the pitchers get hurt. More offense. Stealing bases is 10 times easier because you're limited on your pickoff tries. The bases are gigantic.
Yeah,
everything is coming up baseball. I'm into this.
It is true. Baseball's having quite the offseason right now.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Whether it all works is going to be really interesting. And was the last time in February we said, "Man, I can't wait to see what happens in April."
Good for them, because it's been a long time since people have been like, yes. I mean, unless you're a diehard fan of your own team. I can't wait for baseball.
Didn't Manny Machado just sign a gigantic contract recently? This is another one?
Yeah. So he opted out after year 5, right? And signed a new 11-year contract for $350 million. Do we know how old will he be at the end of that contract?
Well, he had $150 million left with 5 more years, and so he just extended it on at $200 million more. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. He's 30, so he'll be 41 at the end of this.
Is he that good?
Shades of Albert Pujols.
I've always wondered.
He is that good.
But
he got a lot of crap because he once told Ken Rosenthal that he doesn't hustle all the time.
Manny Machado's career, he's never hit 40 homers, and he's a slugger. I don't know.
as good as Machado has been, he was never nearly as good as Pujols was at his prime when he got that big deal. I don't trust long-term deals when a guy's 30.
Yeah, I mean, they're different players. Very different body types.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, his OPS last year was under 9. He's just not. He's not Bryce Harper. He's not.
He probably doesn't strike out as much as Bryce, does he?
Right, but he's not Juan Soto or somebody who's just got this gigantic.
Well, he's teammates
huge
with Juan
production.
Soto.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
devastating lineup.
Do you pitch around Machado? I don't know. He's not that scary to me.
That's where we got to leave it. 855. No, I don't have to give out the number because we got to go. Thank you to Mike Samter. Thank you to Stu Kovacs. Thank you to the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers in the chat, still sending us their best movies and TV shows with plot twists. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the callers as well. We will see you tomorrow for a whole day of fun, and will Perloff find Phil's Randall Cunningham jersey? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Dun, dun, dun.